Like, I'm not sure. Okay, I think we're live now.
Live?
Oh, welcome to
Live.
our live reading of The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson movie. That's terrible, but we're going to read it. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be really funny. It's a kind of older version.
Yeah, this isn't the shooting script. It's like when we did Beetlejuice. Here's Katie. It's like when we did Beetlejuice, and it was the early script, so we have an early copy. So it's actually even dumber than what it ended up being.
I think this is probably the version that Rick read and was like, "This is too sexual." Because when I read it, I was like, "This is too sexual."
Yeah.
So prepare yourself mentally. I'm Bridget. This is my channel. Welcome. Everyone, let's introduce ourselves. Molly, you want to go first?
Hello. I'm Molly from the channel Magical Molly, where this theater troupe usually is. And I'm playing one Mr. Percy Jackson. And then this is my sister, Katie, from nowhere. What are you doing?
Excuse me, I'm on a podcast with you.
Oh, right. I meant YouTube.
Okay, yeah, I don't have YouTube, but I post lots of stuff on Instagram if you're interested.
What are you doing in the reading?
Oh, special effects.
Okay.
Special effects.
Okay, great. Next person.
Simon, you want to go?
Sure. Hello, my name is Simon. I'm a boy. I'm reading for Zeus and the Minotaur and several other secondary roles.
You playing Hysterical Girl, number 1?
Yeah.
I'm very
Yes, I absolutely can't wait for that one.
Kat, go ahead.
I'm Kat, and I'm gonna be Grover.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
Mark, you want to go?
Who?
Mark, go for it.
Ah, okay. Hi, I'm Mar, and I'm gonna be the goddesses, I guess, and some other second characters. So.
You're also Sally.
Oh, true.
Oh, I'm Sally.
You're my mom.
Yeah, true.
Percy, you want to go next?
I'm gonna be Mar.
I'm Percy, and I am playing Hades and Poseidon and others.
And maybe Luke, but Michelle is going to be.
And maybe
Oh,
Luke
yeah,
if Michelle doesn't show up.
We're waiting for Michelle, but she's having technical difficulties, so she's supposed to be Luke. If she gets here, she's Luke. If she doesn't get here, Percy's Luke. Where did you get that chair from?
Raphael, you want to go now?
Heck yeah. What's up? I'm Raphael. I'm going to be playing Chiron, the wonderful man horse, played by James Bond himself, later recast.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Hell yeah.
And Austin, you want to go now?
Okay, sure. Hi, I'm Austin. I'm in this order: Gabe, Annabeth, Aphrodite Girl number 1, and 80s Kid.
Woo!
And Bridget's reading stage direction.
Stage
Hell
direct.
yeah.
It would help if I pulled the script up, I think.
Yeah, so does
I
everyone
mean,
ready?
maybe a little bit.
I'm not
Okay.
ready. Hold on.
I'll just introduce it a second.
Yeah,
The
that's fine.
Lightning Thief, written by Craig Titley, based very loosely on the novel by Rick Riordan.
Fuck you, Craig. The nerve, honestly.
I don't know what Craig was doing. He made a mistake.
Audacity. I think Craig took some lotus flowers before he wrote.
I really think he read the summary on SparkNotes and went, I got the general gist.
He was like, my neighbor's kid read it, and like I heard them talk about it once. So
Yeah.
okay. Are we
all ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Okay. And here we go. Interior. Indoor. Swimming pool. Night. Wooden bleachers line the surrounding walls of the Olympic-sized pool. The room is empty. Moonlight shines through the skylights, reflecting off the water. Nike's Jay-Z t-shirt and an eye touch are piled at the pool's edge. Camera cranes inside the water. At the pool's bottom, we find Percy Jackson, age 17, sitting with his legs crossed, dressed in cargo shorts. His eyes are closed. His long, dirty blonde hair floats around him. His expression is peaceful.
It says dirty blonde hair.
Yup.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
The nerve.
Okay, stop. Ever since I was a kid, I liked being in the water. It's where I do my best thinking. Sometimes when I concentrate, I hear this distant voice, like somebody trying to guide me, give me direction. Weird, huh?
Percy opens his eyes, shoots to the surface, fills his lungs with air.
Probably just water. I'm on the surface. Probably just water on the brain.
Exterior, Yancey Academy day. A large campus in upstate New York. Old brick buildings are scattered across several well-manicured acres. Percy walks alone across campus, dressed like a Venice Beach surf rat, listening to an iPod. His attitude is tough, hard, cool.
My name is Percy Jackson. Until a few months ago, I was a student here at Yancey Academy, the kind of place where parents send their troubled kids, but no one else will take them.
A fight breaks out between a group of students. Teachers run to break it up. Percy keeps on walking. Interior, Yancey classroom. Later, day. A 52-year-old gray-haired bearded teacher in a wheelchair, Mr. Brunner, lectures to a group of kids who would rather be elsewhere. Percy stares at his textbook.
Oh my God, Michelle's here. Sorry. My so-called troubles had impressive sounding names.
Percy squints at the text. The words morph into odd shapes.
Like dyslexia and attention deficit disorder. But I had a better name for them. Boredom.
Interior, Percy's dorm, night. Percy's roommate is asleep, snoring. A pair of rusted metallic forearm crutches lean against his roommate's bed. Percy lies awake, the walls around him covered with posters of surfers riding extreme waves. Tacked to the wall is a photograph. Percy and his mom in happier times.
I was also supposed to have some displaced rage because my father abandoned my mom before I was born. But quite honestly, none of that really mattered.
Distant thunder roars. Percy gets up, looks out his window. Storm clouds form in the sky, obscure the moon.
Because my real troubles were just beginning.
Dun, dun, dun. Exterior, Metropolitan Museum, Manhattan, the next day. Day. The sky above Manhattan is heavy with dark, ominous clouds. A Yancey Academy bus is parked in front of the museum. Interior, Metropolitan Museum of Art. Later. A spacious glass-domed room filled with ancient Greek artifacts, rusted weapons, and artwork. In the center of the room are imposing sculptures of the 12 Olympian gods. Mr. Brunner lectures from his wheelchair.
There are 12 Olympian gods. The major three were brothers who went on to rule the world. Zeus became the king of the gods and ruled the sky. His brother Poseidon ruled the sea, and their other brother Hades ruled the underworld.
A group of fairly disinterested high school seniors stand around Mr. Brunner. Percy stands off to the side, sweatshirt pulled up to hide his iPod headphones. Grover, Percy's roommate, stands beside him. Grover is overweight with curly brown hair, glasses, a wispy goatee, and a perpetual expression of lust and mischief. Using his cell phone, Grover snaps a photo of the Aphrodite statue's breasts. Brunner notices, frowns, not amused.
Grover, please.
Grover looks up guiltily. Brunner extends his hand.
A little more respect for the gods.
Grover sighs, hands over the cell phone. Brunner looks at the photos, holds up the camera for the class to see. The kids chuckle at the image of Aphrodite's breasts.
What does this tell us about Grover?
He's a sex addict.
Possibly.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing.
Grover may be a tad more hormonally challenged than most teenagers, but he still shares a similar weakness with all of us: lust.
I knew we had something in common.
It's something the Greek gods also shared with us. There were several occasions when the gods would come down to earth and, how shall I put this?
Hook up.
They would hook up with mortals.
Several kids snicker.
The children of these unions were half god and half human. Can anyone tell me what they were called?
Mr. Brunner scans to Drew Bobafit, a tough, angry, mean-spirited bully with a buzz cut and tattoos.
Mr. Bobafit.
Who's Boba Fett? Simon be Boba Fett.
All right, no problem. Bastards, mongrels, mutts.
Drew's two friends, two hoodlums named Tony and Vince, laugh. Brunner scowls, looks around.
Anyone else? Percy?
But Percy doesn't hear, lost in his music. Grover uses one of his crutches to yank the headset out of Percy's ear.
What? Huh?
What is the proper name for the offspring of a human and a god?
Percy narrows his eyes, thinks. Finally, it comes to him.
Demigods.
Very good, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Bobafit, you and the rest of class obviously need a bit more incentive to learn this material. Perhaps a quiz will help? Tomorrow, chapter 7 and 8.
Interior, museum's men's room, later day. Percy and Grover enter. Grover, using his crutches, walks with a pronounced limp.
I can't get above a D in most classes, but somehow, without even studying, I get this stuff.
Maybe it's in your blood.
The bathroom door flies open. Drew and his friends enter, shove past Grover, nearly knocking him down.
Out of the way, Crip.
Shut your mouth, Drew.
Drew turns, walks back to Percy, getting in his face.
You're the one who should keep your mouth shut, Jackson. If you weren't so busy kissing Bruner's ass, we wouldn't be having a quiz tomorrow.
Big deal. You have to study. Grow up.
Not all of us can get a fancy tutor by pretending to have dyslexia.
I'm not pretending. I mix things up. Like, right now, I could swear your dick is where your head is supposed to be.
Furious, Drew and his gang drag Percy into a stall. Drew tries to shove Percy's head into the toilet bowl. Percy struggles to break free. Grover bangs on the stall door.
Percy?
As Percy's face gets closer to the toilet water, the water begins to churn and bubble, growing in power.
Stop!
Drew
No,
keeps
I'm
pushing.
spraying it at them.
The water churns violently.
I said stop!
Suddenly, a blast of water explodes out of the toilet bowl. The water moves with extreme force and definite purpose. It shoots past Percy, strikes Drew and the boys with the power of a firehouse, blows them out of the stall and across the bathroom floor, right past Grover. They land under the urinals. Grover sees Percy step out of the stall. Percy is shaken, confused, unsure what just happened.
Percy, let's go.
Drew and the boys get back on their feet, soaked. They block Percy and Grover's exit. A creaking sound fills the room, followed by a low groaning noise and the sound of pipes rattling. Then, crack, crack! Several hairline fractures form in the walls and on the floor, spreading out like spider webs. Urinals and sinks explode, firing like missiles across the bathroom. Water rushes in through the holes in the wall, forming into the shape of several snake-like tentacles. The water tentacles whip through the room like living creatures. They attack Drew and his friends. Grover watches in amazement. Percy is baffled, standing in the center of the maelstrom. The floor beneath Drew's feet cracks open. A geyser of water shoots upward. The powerful water lifts Drew into the air. The bathroom door flies open. Mr. Brunner rolls in, stunned by what he sees. The geyser quickly dissolves. Drew falls to the floor, right on top of his soggy, freaked-out friends. The other water stops flowing, retreating back into the pipes, leaving pools of water everywhere.
What's going on?
Jackson, he blew up the bathroom.
Mr. Brunner looks very concerned. Percy's expression is equal parts amazement, confusion, and fear.
I didn't. I don't. It's just,
Mr. Brunner nods, speaks softly, almost knowingly.
Happened.
Interior, Mr. Brunner's office, later, day. Angry, Percy is sitting across from Mr. Brunner's desk. Grover stands in the background.
Detention? But it wasn't my fault. I don't even know how it happened.
I believe you, Percy. But Dean Campbell wants to suspend you. I argued for a compromise.
1 month detention is a compromise.
For you? Yes. You've been to 6 different schools in 8 years. You've got a D- average. You're on very thin ice.
Perfect. I like cold water.
You really want to be expelled from another school?
Do I really give a damn?
Maybe you don't, but your mother does. Don't let her down again.
The words stick. Percy looks out the window, troubled, upset. Mr. Brunner feels Percy's torment. Mr. Brunner takes a thick book off his shelf.
I want you to read this.
You know I can't.
Try.
Mr. Brunner places the book in front of Percy. The writing on the cover is in Greek. Percy refuses to look at it. Interior library, later, night. Outside, thunder rumbles. We are inside a dark, ancient library with high vaulted ceilings and lead glass windows. Rows and rows of towering bookshelves stand along the walls, each with its own ladder on wheels. Percy sits at a long wooden table. In the middle of the room, he is alone, save for the librarian, a small elderly woman. Percy is trying to read Mr. Brunner's book, staring at the Greek letters on the cover. He squints. The Greek letters morph into English letters. They read, "A Guide to Greek Myths and Legends." Percy is surprised, pulls the book close, and reads to himself.
The father of the Olympians was Kronos. He was the king of the Titans. I can read?
There is a loud crash, the sound of breaking glass. Percy looks up and sees a creature hidden in the shadows leaps through the window. The creature lands on the floor and slowly rises up. It's over 12 feet tall. The librarian screams. The creature pulls back its arm, swipes at the librarian with tremendous force. The librarian is knocked off her feet, flies through the air, and slams into the wall, out cold. Percy stands, terrified. He starts to back away. The creature turns, faces Percy, and steps forward, into the light. It is the Minotaur! Half man, half bull. Muscular, with a long snout, cruel yellow eyes, and battered razor-sharp horns. Seeing Percy, the Minotaur roars, then speaks in an inhuman voice.
Where is it?
Percy turns and sprints toward the door. The Minotaur races after him. Faster than Percy, the Minotaur is up upon him in seconds. The Minotaur grabs Percy, lifts him into the air, and hurls him at a bookshelf. Percy slams into the shelves, falls to the floor, buried under a pile of books. Percy is stunned, the wind knocked out of him. The Minotaur runs forward, lifts its arm, about to pummel Percy. Percy rolls out of the way. The Minotaur's arm just misses Percy and smashes a hole into the library floor. Percy gets to his feet, dashes around the corner. The Minotaur follows. Percy kicks one of the wooden ladders into the path of the creature. The Minotaur slams through the ladder as if it were balsa wood. Percy heads for the library doors. The Minotaur runs up, swings its razor-sharp claw across Percy's back. The claws rip through his jacket. Percy cries out in pain. The Minotaur moves in for the kill. The library doors burst open. The Minotaur stops, turns to the sound.
Percy!
Mr. Brunner races into the room on his wheelchair, holding a simple ballpoint pen.
Use this!
Mr. Brunner throws the pen to Percy. Confused, Percy catches the pen. Brunner shouts.
Click it!
What?
Click it! The pen is mightier than the sword!
Percy clicks the pen. It transforms into a large, sharp metal sword. Percy stares at the blade in disbelief. The Minotaur turns back to Percy, who is on his feet, wielding the heavy sword. Percy lunges forward and swings. The tip of the sword slices deep across the creature's arm. The Minotaur cries out. Blood seeps from its wound. This only makes the creature angrier. The Minotaur charges Percy. Percy swings again, this time slicing deep into the Minotaur's torso. The Minotaur howls in pain, holding his bleeding chest wound. With a final growl, the Minotaur turns and leaps out of the library window. Percy looks around the room, a gigantic mess of destroyed books, furniture, and bookcases. Percy glances to the sword. It changes back into a common, everyday ballpoint pen.
What was that thing?
You have to go. It's coming back for you.
Coming back? It was her.
You temporarily scared it off. A Minotaur can only be killed by severing the horn from its body.
Brunner exits, followed by a confused Percy.
A Minotaur?
Interior, Percy's dorm room, moments later, night. Grover is asleep, a copy of Maxim lying on his blanket. Percy and Brunner enter.
Pack only what you need. Fast.
Can you tell me what's going on?
No time. Grover, out of bed.
Grover groggily gets out of bed, led to the hallway by Brunner. Percy grabs a backpack and begins to pack. From the hallway, we hear Grover and Brunner's whispering. Percy stops packing, slowly walks to the door, eavesdrops. Outside, thunder rumbles. Brunner whispers to Grover.
Day, in the bathroom, the water. It was a sign. Percy's powers have begun to surface.
Why now?
It happens when their lives are in danger.
Danger?
He was attacked by a Minotaur.
What? But why?
Listen, what do you hear?
Thunder.
But no lightning.
Yeah?
Stolen. And they suspect Percy.
Impossible.
I know. But because of who he is, everyone thinks he did it.
Oh man. Nowhere is safe for him.
Only one place.
Right. You want me to take him there?
Pick up Sally along the way.
Grover nods, an anguished roar echoes from outside. The cry of the Minotaur. Grover and Brunner turn, hurry back to Percy's bedroom. Percy races back inside, resumes packing. Interior, subway train, later, night. Grover and Percy sit inside a crowded subway train. Grover is silent. Percy is anxious, wants information.
Would you please tell me what's going on? What's all this stuff about my powers starting to surface? What powers? And me stealing something, is that why nowhere is safe for me?
Quiet. Keep your voice down. They could be listening.
Who? Who could be listening?
Not here. Not with all these people around. No one can be trusted.
Grover glares at an elderly lady who is staring at him. Percy shakes his head, thinks Grover is crazy. Exterior, Queens neighborhood, night. A working class neighborhood. Grover and Percy exit the subway, hurrying along the sidewalk. Grover is tense, anxious, suspiciously eyeing anyone who passes by.
Do I to Brunner send you home with me?
To keep you safe.
You're gonna keep me safe?
I'm your protector.
Percy responds with an incredulous laugh.
What's so funny?
Nothing. It's just, well, you.
What? You think because I'm disabled, I'm not capable of keeping you safe? Huh? Is that it?
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to.
Percy sighs, feels terrible. They arrive in front of a small, mean, wooden two-story home, sandwiched between rows of similar homes. They walk to the door and enter. Interior Ugliano home, living room, night. Gabe Ugliano, Percy's 39-year-old, sloppy, overweight stepfather, sits at a table in this cramped apartment, playing cards with 4 poker buddies. Several empty beer bottles are on the table. 70s Southern rock plays on the BG.
This disgusting slob is my stepfather, Gabe Ugliano. I call him Smelly Gabe because he never showers, puts Tabasco and garlic on everything he eats, and...
Gabe lifts a butt cheek off his chair and lets one rip.
You get the picture. Sometimes when Gabe drinks too much, he fights with my mom, screams at her, slaps her around. We're really making light of this. A real prince.
Sally, hey, can we get a couple beers?
Percy's mom, Sally, enters, carrying a 6-pack. Sally's in her mid-30s, attractive, beaten down by a hard life. There's a toughness, an inner strength, a radiant glow about her. Gabe takes the beers, looks at his friends.
You know, guys, if God wanted men to get their own beer, he wouldn't have invented wives.
Sally forces a smile, places the beers on the table.
My mom, on the other hand, is an angel. I could never understand what she was doing with this jerk.
Gabe pulls Sally in for a sloppy kiss, grabs her ass.
Just kidding, babe. Come here.
Get your hands off my mother.
Everyone turns. Percy and Grover stand in the doorway. Sally is surprised, but delighted by the appearance of Percy.
Percy?
Sally rushes to Percy, embraces him. She notices Grover, kisses his cheek.
Grover, you too? What are you doing home?
Probably got his ass kicked out of another school.
Disrespect my mom again, and you'll get your ass kicked into the street.
Yeah? Let's see what you got.
Gabe stands in a drunken rage, grabs Percy by the collar, ready for a fight. Gabe's gonna kill him. Grover brings down his crutch, hard, on top of Gabe's foot. Gabe cries out. Grover feigns an apology.
Oh, geez. Sorry. New crutches.
Grover moves his crutch from Gabe's foot, lifts it, this time slamming Gabe in the balls. Gabe crumples to his knees.
I am so clumsy. Are you okay?
The wind knocked out of him, Gabe is helped back into his chair by his friends. Grover leans to Percy, whispers.
I'm your protector. You cool with that?
Percy hides a small smile, nods. Sally hurriedly leads the boys out of the room into the kitchen. Interior kitchen, moments later, night.
Why do you stay with that smelly pig?
Not another word. He's been good to us in ways you'll never know. Now, what's going on?
We have to go to the camp.
Right now? Why?
Percy's in danger. They're coming after him. They think he stole...
From off-screen, we hear a loud, inhuman roar. Grover panics.
The Minotaur!
Relax, it's only Gabe.
Percy Jackson, get your ass in here.
I'll take Gabe's car. Come on.
They hurriedly exit through the back door. Grover quickly snatches a jumbo bag of Cheetos. Exterior, Ugliano home, moments later, night. A battered, rusted orange 78 Camaro, complete with the racing stripes, speeds out of the garage. Exterior, country road, later, night. The Camaro is the only car on the road, moving deeper into the dense countryside. On one side of the road, miles and miles of trees. On the other side, a hilly field. Interior, Camaro, night. Sally is at the wheel. Grover is in the back seat, nervously gobbling Cheetos and checking a road map. Percy turns to Sally. He's upset, worried.
Mom, I don't know what's going on, but I didn't steal anything. I swear.
I believe you, honey. I know that you're scared and confused right now. Trust me, I didn't want any of this for you. I thought you could have an ordinary life. But nothing about you could ever be ordinary.
So, where are we going?
Think of it as a camp for special people, like you and your father.
Great. Camp full of losers.
Your father was not a loser. He was a great man.
A great man who abandoned his family.
He did not abandon us, Percy. He had to leave. He couldn't live in our world.
Our world? Who was my dad? E.T.?
Percy, you know all the myths about the great gods and goddesses? Well, they've not really myths. The gods are alive. They're here.
What?
You saw the Minotaur?
Right. Okay. But I mean, if the gods are real, wouldn't they be in Greece?
They were, a long time ago, but the gods tend to follow the heart of the West. They've been settled in America for the past 2 centuries.
What does this have to do with me?
Remember what Brenner said in class? Sometimes when the gods are down here on Earth, they fall in love with mortals, have kids.
Demigods.
Half god and half mortal. There are hundreds living in the world right now. Some lead normal lives. Others become pretty famous.
What are you saying?
You're a demigod.
Percy is stunned, speechless. Exterior country road, moments later, night. The Camaro passes a field of grazing cattle. As the car passes, one of the cows raises its enormous head, above the rest. It's a large bull's head with twisted horns. It follows the Camaro with glowing yellow eyes. The Minotaur. Interior, Camaro, night. The car continues down the deserted, dark road. Percy is still shocked by the news. Sally explains.
I was young when we met, just out of school, working at a resort for the summer, right on the ocean. Your father was not like any guy I had ever met. He was just dazzling.
They're always dazzling.
We were very much in love. And then you came along. But he had to leave.
So he did abandon us.
He had no choice. The gods, by their very nature, can't live among mortals. They are responsible for an entire universe.
Then maybe they shouldn't have kids.
Your father loved you, Percy. Leaving you was probably the most difficult thing he ever did.
What was his name?
Sally turns, about to tell Percy who his father was. A loud, inhuman roar fills the air. Grover looks out the window when suddenly, Chud! A cow lands in the road in front of them. Sally screams, swerves to miss the end. Exterior country road, night. The Camaro flips onto its side, careens off the road. It skids into a ditch, coming to a stop beside a vast forest of tall pine trees. Smoke pours from beneath the hood. Interior, Camaro, night. In pain, Percy grabs his head. He sees Sally slumped over the wheel.
Mom? Mom!
Sally stirs, more stunned than hurt.
I'm okay. How's Grover?
He raises his head up from the back seat.
Is it just me, or is it raining cows?
The car suddenly shakes from an impact tremor. This is followed by several impact tremors. Something very large, very heavy is running toward them. Percy looks out the mud-splattered back window. He sees cows being thrown into the air, flying left and right. A monstrous thing plows through them, heading toward the car.
Everyone out!
Sally throws herself against the driver's side door. It is jammed shut. Percy tries to open his door, also jammed. The creature is getting closer, closer. Grover removes his sneakers, strips off his baggy pants.
What are you doing?
My job.
Grover lifts his feet, revealing that they are thick, furry hooves. Percy stares at Grover's hooves, shocked.
Okay, so you're half donkey?
Goat, actually.
Grover pulls back his leg. With a powerful kick, he shatters the rear window and climbs out of the back window. Percy assists his mom out of the car. When Percy climbs out, he sees Grover standing in all his glory. He's a satyr.
Follow me.
With tremendous speed and agility, Grover runs/gallops toward the pine forest. Percy and Sally follow. They glance over their shoulder and see the Minotaur stepping into the road, spotlighted by the car's headlights. The creature stops the car, snuffles, nuzzling at the windows. A few feet away, at the edge of the pine forest, Sally, Percy, and Grover stop, looking back at the Minotaur. The Minotaur unleashes a chilling, angry howl, turns toward Sally and the boys.
You just picked up our scent. Run!
They sprint off into the pine forest. The angry Minotaur picks up the Camaro, lifts it, and hurls the car in their general direction. The car flies toward Percy, Sally, and Grover, smashing through the pine trees. Sally tackles Grover and Percy, pinning them to the ground. The car flies over their heads, missing them by inches. It lands with a crash only a few feet in front of them.
Cape's gonna be pissed.
I always hated that car.
They quickly get back on their feet, hearing the Minotaur smashing and breaking the trees as he charges after them.
Come on, we're almost there.
Grover points just ahead of them. There is an old wooden gate/archway leading into a small clearing. Faded Greek letters arc across the top of the gate. Percy, Sally, and Grover run for their lives toward the gate. The Minotaur chases them, getting closer. Percy, Sally, and Grover reach the gate. Percy looks up at the letters. Percy's POV. The letters shapeshift, morph into English letters. Percy reads the words.
Camp Half-Blood.
Grover grabs Percy, pulls him through the open wooden gate. Sally stops at the entrance. She doesn't go through. The Minotaur crashes through a row of pines, moving fast, less than 50 yards away. Percy looks back to his mom, sees that she's stopped. Mom! Sorry.
Mom! What are you doing?
I can't go any further.
Percy reaches out, grabs his mother's arms, tries to pull her through the camp entrance. An invisible force field wall prevents Sally from entering. Percy can't pull her through.
Sally.
Oh, I can't go through. I'm not like you.
The Minotaur stomps forward, only a few feet away.
I love you, Percy. Now, go, please.
I'm not leaving without you.
You have to. You're meant to.
Sally pulls her arm free from Percy. She takes a step back, just as the Minotaur arrives. Percy reaches for his mother again, but the beast grabs Sally and pulls her away.
I'm not Sally. No!
Up ahead, Grover skids to a stop, looks back and sees. The Minotaur grabs Sally by the neck and lifts her off the ground. She struggles, kicking and pummeling the air. The Minotaur closes his fists around Sally's neck. She melts into light, becoming a shimmering golden form. There is a blinding flash and Sally disappears, simply gone.
Mom!
Percy's face is covered with anger and grief. He is filled with newfound strength. A rush of burning energy. Percy charges toward the beast. Grover runs toward him, yells.
Percy, don't!
Percy runs up to the Minotaur and leaps onto its back. The creature tosses him off like a rag doll. Force sends Percy flying into a tree, hard. He falls onto the ground, motionless, eyes closed. The Minotaur lowers its head and charges Percy. At the last moment, Percy rolls out of the way. The Minotaur just misses him and plows into a tree, head first. The Minotaur's horn gets stuck in the trunk. With a loud roar, the Minotaur pulls back its head. There is a hard snap of bone. The Minotaur's horn snaps off, ripped from its head, now stuck in the tree. Furious, the Minotaur turns to Percy and roars. A weakened Percy takes a step back, his legs shaking. The Minotaur races toward him, ready to finish him. As the Minotaur charges, Percy runs to the tree. He pulls the Minotaur's horn out of the tree. Percy stabs the creature, plunging the horn into the middle of the Minotaur's chest. The Minotaur howls in pain. Black blood pours from the wound. The Minotaur falls to the ground, dead. Breathless and weak, Percy stands over the fallen Minotaur. Percy drops the horn, looks up at the tree. The trees spin. Percy's eyes roll back. Softly he speaks.
Mom.
He faints. Interior, Camp Half-Blood, Infirmary, days later, day. Percy is lying on a hospital bed. Annabeth, a 17-year-old girl with stunning gray eyes and curly blonde hair, stares down at him. She's wearing body armor and is covered in sweat and dirt, but she's still radiant.
This is him? Doesn't look tough enough to kill a Minotaur. I'm not impressed.
Percy's eyes slowly flutter open. He stares up into Annabeth's hypnotic gray eyes, sees all of her beauty. Light reflects off her armor, making her look otherworldly.
Hello?
You drool when you sleep. Wipe your mouth.
Percy wipes his mouth. Grover steps out from behind Annabeth.
Welcome back, Betty.
Percy notices the cacophony of moans and groans. He sees that his bed is one of the several dozen inside of a large stone-walled infirmary. Kids ages 11 to 18 are in the beds. They are battered and bruised, some with broken bones.
Where am I?
The infirmary. You've been unconscious for 3 days.
Percy tries to sit up, but he's in pain. Annabeth shoves a goblet filled with a gold glowing liquid into his face.
Drink this. It'll make you feel better.
Percy sniffs it, not sure.
Don't be a weasel.
Percy smiles, takes a sip. Grover and Annabeth watch him expectantly. He looks instantly rejuvenated.
Good stuff. What is it?
Ambrosia and nectar. Food of the gods.
Tastes like my mom's caramel brownies. I don't know why we changed that from chocolate chip cookies. It's such a minor detail.
It always tastes like your favorite food.
Time for more training. See you on the battlefield, hero.
She clanks away in her armor, carrying a shield and sword. As Percy watches her, he hears more clanging as several kids, covered in dirt, mud, and blood, wearing classic Greek battle armor over jeans and t-shirts, are carried in on stretchers.
What happened to them?
She did.
Percy grins, thinks it's a joke. Grover's not laughing.
Do you remember anything?
Just some crazy dream. My mom was there. There was a minotaur, and you were some kind of weird hybrid goat thing.
He looks at Grover, then trails his eyes from Grover's face down to his lower half, which is completely visible now. Furry arched legs, goat, butt, hooves, and all.
Actually, I prefer satyr. Oh, and this is yours.
He hands Percy the minotaur horn. Percy stares at it. His expression darkens. Realization sets in.
It was real. All of it was real.
I'm sorry, Percy. It's my fault. I blew it. It was my job to protect you. Both of you.
Percy stares at the horn. His expression is sad, filled with despair. He speaks softly in grief. Tears fill his eyes.
My mom. She's really gone?
Interior, infirmary, later, dead. Percy is dressed, depressed, walking with Grover down the aisle, past the beds, past the moaning, battered kids. Percy looks at all the wounded kids.
Oh! Where are we?
Herma follows them as they step out of the infirmary and stand at the top of a hill, looking out over
Camp Half-Blood.
The camp is spread across several acres of a beautiful, lush landscape surrounded by a pine forest. The building's architecture is straight out of ancient Greece, constructed of stone and marble with weathered, well-worn facades. A small coliseum is visible in the distance.
Created by the Olympians for their offspring, demigods, kids like you.
Percy stands in awe, speechless. Exterior, Camp Half-Blood, later. Percy and Grover walk through the camp. Hundreds of kids aged 11 to 21 dressed in modern clothing are everywhere. They walk past several kids sitting inside a small outdoor amphitheater as an old blind poet recites Homer's Odyssey.
This is where you guys learn to harness your powers to become leaders, warriors, artists, and heroes.
You got the wrong guy. I'm no hero. I'm a screw-up with dyslexia and ADHD.
Those are your greatest gifts.
You call those gifts?
They pass other kids firing arrows at archery range, throwing javelins, forging weapons in a blacksmith furnace, making bases at a potter's wheel.
When you try to read, the letters seem to float off the page, right? That's because your brain's hardwired for ancient Greek, not English. I bet you had no trouble reading the book Mr. Runner gave you in detention.
That was Greek?
And your ADHD, your own culture, still. Those are your natural battle reflexes. They kept you alive when you fought the Minotaur. No mortal screw-up could defeat the Minotaur, Percy. Your blood is special. It's the blood of a god.
And these kids, they're all sons and daughters of gods?
And goddesses.
They pause at a practice battlefield. Annabeth swordsmith, beating several stronger male opponents. Percy watches, very attracted to her.
What's her name?
Smoking, huh?
Her name.
Annabeth, daughter of Athena, goddess of wisdom.
I thought Athena was a virgin goddess.
She was, but you tried holding out for 10,000 years. I barely make it through health class.
Percy and Grover walk to the edge of the Colosseum. A horse race is in progress. 8 horses circle the track in a cloud of dust. They are silhouetted against the bright rays of the afternoon sun. As the horses reach the finish, the dust clears. Percy's mouth drops when he sees that they are centaurs. Half man, half horse. One of the centaurs walks away, trots toward Percy. As the centaur gets closer, Percy recognizes him.
Mr. Brunner?
Here I am known as Chiron. Nice to see you up and around.
You're...
A real horse's ass, I know. I'm sorry I had to keep my true form hidden from you, but it was for your own good. I hope you'll forgive me.
What happened to your wheelchair?
Only when I'm in mortal form. I could never walk on only my 2 legs.
He leads Percy and Grover away. They walk through the camp with Chiron.
Is this your camp?
No, I'm just an overseer and a trainer.
Chiron enters an alcove nestled in the woods by the lake. 11 distinct frat-like houses are arranged around a common area, dotted with old statues and ancient fountains.
This is where you'll be staying.
Greek row.
Why are there only 11? The first house they pass has several smokestacks, belching black smoke. Outside, a few kids covered in sweat and grime work billows and anvils.
The heirs of Lord forgive me for butchering the names.
Hephaestus.
the heirs of Hephaestus, smith and weapon maker of the gods.
Chiron and Percy continue on, past a building that resembles a fortress. Barbed wire fencing surrounds the lawn. Angry music blasts from within. A dozen big, ugly, mean kids are yelling at each other. Some are physically fighting.
Offspring of Ares, god of war.
The next home is filled with dozens of hyper-energetic kids running through the lawn, playing pranks, laughing. They all have sharp noses, upturned eyebrows, and mischievous smiles.
Those pranksters are the offspring of Hermes, messenger of the gods.
One of Hermes' sons motions to a nearby brother, clearly up to something. He's watching. The sorority house next door. It is decorated with romantic statues and gardens, the most lush home on Greek Row. The girls who live here are drop-dead gorgeous, most of them outside sunbathing. Grover stops dead in his tracks, frozen like he's fighting an urge and desperately losing.
Daughters of Aphrodite, goddess of love. Another 4-letter word.
Sprinklers go off, drenching the girls. They scream, run inside. Hermes' sons roll on the ground laughing.
I'll catch up with you guys later.
Grover makes a mad dash toward the drenched daughters of Aphrodite, chasing them around the grounds.
Satyrs. You can never completely train them to stop chasing the nymphs.
Chiron and Percy round the U and stop at one of the largest homes on Greek Row. The home looks as if it were made of coral. A large fountain is in front. Chiron turns to Percy.
Welcome home.
Percy's taken back, yet intrigued.
Your father built this for you.
My father?
Chiron lifts his front legs and kicks open the doors.
Poseidon.
It's weird that we know that already.
Interior, Poseidon's palace. Same. Percy and Chiron enter Poseidon's home. Most of the interior is taken up by a large indoor pool. The stairways are lined with cascading waterfalls. There are many statues of horses, and a wall filled with various ancient rusted metal tridents. Percy stares in awe.
Your father is the god of the seas, as well as horses and earthquakes. It was his wish that you would lead a normal life. He asked me to watch over you, and when you got older, I chose Grover to be your protector.
Percy looks at the collection of rusted tridents, grabs one.
Why didn't my mom ever tell me?
She couldn't. It was for your own safety. There hasn't been a demigod born of the big 3 in over 100 years.
The big 3. Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon.
That makes you special, powerful, a threat. That's why your mom married your stepfather. His rather pungent odor masked the smell of your blood in case you were ever in danger.
Like the Minotaur.
Exactly.
So Gabe's ass saved mine?
I wouldn't put it in that way, but yes.
So why am I in danger? Why are things chasing me, trying to kill me?
Actually, for the time being, they prefer that you stay alive.
Why?
They think you've stolen something valuable.
But I didn't steal anything.
I believe you. Not many others do. Zeus has convinced almost everyone that you're the lightning thief.
Did we just get a title drop?
Percy
Roll the
continues.
credits.
Chiron points to the palace ceiling. Here is a stunning three-dimensional painting depicting the history of the gods. It makes the Sistine Chapel look pedestrian. Chiron points to a powerful image of Zeus riding in the clouds, the powerful master bolt in hand. Why this is in Poseidon's cabin, I don't know.
Zeus's master bolt, the bolt where all lightning originates, the most powerful weapon ever created, harnessing more power than several hydrogen bombs. It was stolen 4 days ago.
Other what? No, yeah. Why do they think it was me?
Chiron points to an image of Zeus in combat against Poseidon.
When the bolt disappeared, Zeus naturally blamed your father. They've been in a power struggle for centuries. But ancient law forbids gods to cross into each other's realm. Only a demigod is capable of that. Someone like you, Zeus's closest relative.
But I've never even met my father, and I sure as hell wouldn't do his dirty work. He fucking sucks.
Unless the bolt is returned by midnight of summer solstice, 2 weeks from now, there will be a war of the gods.
Zeus versus Poseidon. The gods enter the ring. Only one will leave.
War between the gods is a serious matter, Percy. Olympians will be forced to choose sides. Nature will turn against itself. Modern civilizations will be destroyed.
So what do we do?
For the next few days, we stay here until Zeus calms down. Then we go to Olympus, where you'll convince Zeus of your innocence.
Percy nods. Exterior, Poseidon's palace, the next morning, dawn. Grover walks up the stairs of the palace, enters. Interior, Poseidon's palace, bedroom, the next day, dawn. Grover enters, looks around, no sign of Percy.
Percy?
No answer. Grover walks around, looks into the pool. Floating at the bottom is Percy, eyes closed.
Hey, wake up!
What time is it?
6 a.m. Chiron sent me. He wants you to start training.
You slept in the pool? Okay. Percy climbs out of the water.
Training for what? Stop! Training? Training for what?
This isn't celebrity rehab. They're just trying to kill you, remember? Big, scary things.
Exterior, Camp Half-Blood, battlefield, later. The sky is gray, ominous. There are several weathered tents scattered around the grounds, a type of tents used on the ancient battlefields of Rome and Greece. Dozens of kids, all in armor, sharpen their swords, practice battle moves. Percy walks onto the battlefield wearing armor, holding a heavy shield and sword. He looks extremely uncomfortable and awkward in it. Grover is beside him.
How do you move in all this stuff?
Get used to it. Or you get killed.
Percy gives a nervous laugh. Grover is dead serious. When the other kids see Percy, they all stop and stare, whisper to each other. Is that him? The lightning thief? Son of Poseidon? Slayed the Minotaur?
Harry Potter has come to Hogwarts.
Percy notices Annabeth wearing a red plume surrounded by her team, all wearing red plumes. Annabeth uses her sword point to draw a game plan in the dirt. Chiron chops up.
Heroes, warriors, fall in.
The young warriors line up in a formation by teams. Red plumes on one side, blue plumes on the other. Annabeth is captain of the Red Soldiers.
Today we have some new blood in our midst. Percy, step forward.
Percy pauses, then steps forward. The kids crane their necks to get a good look at Percy, fascinated by him. Percy smiles at Annabeth, but she just stares at him stoically.
This is Percy Jackson. He's going to need a team.
Luke, a small, energetic, impish kid with a thin, sloping nose and a mischievous smile, steps forward. Luke is captain of the Blue Soldiers. He holds an ancient bronze shield with several warriors carved into the front.
We'll take him.
Luke hands Percy a blue-plumed helmet.
I'm Luke, son of Hermes.
Percy takes his helmet and, Buzz! Percy gets a huge electrical shock from the helmet. Sparks fly. Percy jumps back, drops the helmet. Luke turns to his teammates.
I don't know. Maybe it isn't so safe to have the lightning thief on our team.
Everyone is staring at Percy. Suddenly, they all break up laughing. Luke picks up Percy's helmet, removes an electrical joy buzzer from inside. Luke grins at Percy.
Sorry, just busting your balls. Couldn't resist. My old man's a god of pranksters. It's in the blood.
Percy forces a smile, nods, takes the blue helmet from Luke.
You all know the rules. First team to capture the enemy flag wins. Assume your last positions and remember, we fight to build each other up, not to tear each other down. Use your skills on the battlefield. Save your true anger for the dark forces.
Red soldiers start marching off into the forest. Percy turns to Chiron, nervous.
I don't thought this was a game. I don't know how to use this stuff.
You defeated the Minotaur.
But I had that cool Flickabick sword.
That would give you an unfair advantage over the red team. Just relax. Demigods all have some degree of inherited skill. Hercules was only a level 3 when I began teaching him.
You taught Hercules?
Chiron trained all the great demigods. Hercules, Alexander the Great, Bruce Lee, Michael Jordan. Trained them all to be heroes.
They turned themselves into heroes. Only trained them. Just do what comes naturally, Percy. You'll be fine.
Blue team, move out.
They march into the forest. Interior, pine forest, later, day. Reds and blues clash. Kids thrash relentlessly at each other, dealing powerful blows. Swords clang against shields and armor. In the midst of it all, Annabeth savagely hacks her way through dozens of the blue soldiers. Several of the blue team run off. Annabeth removes a bow, pulls arrows from a quiver, and fires a barrage at the fleeing blue soldiers. The arrows pin kids to trees safely by piercing through their clothes, etc. One kid is trapped by an arrow on each side of his head and one between his legs. Annabeth gets right in his face and snarls.
Where is Percy Jackson?
Interior, forest, elsewhere, day. Percy, Luke, and the blue soldiers are cautiously moving through the forest. Percy looks around, nervous. Suddenly, several red soldiers appear, coming right at them.
Incoming!
Blues and reds clash, metal on metal. Percy ducks, avoids blows, and ends up face to face with an angry son of Ares. The son of Ares comes at Percy, swinging. Percy deflects the first several blows, but gets knocked down by the preceding flurry of hits. Luke appears and with 2 fast swings takes out the son of Ares. Luke extends his hand to Percy.
Shake it off.
As Percy gets to his feet, more red soldiers attack. Luke and the other blues fight back. A red soldier starts pummeling Percy. Percy fights back. The 2 kids are in a heated battle. Percy manages to deliver a hard kick to the red soldier's midsection. The red soldier falls to the ground, momentarily winded. Percy sprints into the pine forest. Red soldiers follow. Exterior, deep in the pine forest, day. Percy stops, catches his breath, next to a small creek. Percy looks around, no sign of his pursuers. Percy takes off his helmet, breathless. He kneels beside the creek, splashes water on his face. He sees something reflected in the water. A red flag. It's a few feet away on the other side of the creek. Percy steps into the water. He wades across the creek toward the flag. Percy steps out of the water, walks toward the red flag. He reaches forward, about to pick it up. A dozen red soldiers drop from the trees. They surround Percy. He puts on his helmet, takes a defensive stance.
Did you think it would be that easy?
Annabeth appears.
My mother is the goddess of wisdom and battle strategy. You know what that means? I never lose.
The red soldiers attack Percy. Percy is able to deflect nearly half the blows, but they soon overcome him. He is hit several times. Percy falls to his knees. He is bloodied, beaten, exhausted. Annabeth steps forward, looks down at him.
You actually claim to be the son of Poseidon and the slayer of the Minotaur?
The other red soldiers back away, gives Annabeth her space.
Stand up, fight.
Percy slowly gets to his feet. Annabeth extends her sword, armed and ready. Percy extends his sword.
Let's see what you're really made of.
Their eyes meet, displaying a shared sense of intense excitement and attraction. They begin a heated sword fight. Percy lunges. Annabeth slashes an arm. Percy tries to defend against Annabeth's assault. He's no match for her. Annabeth is more advanced, more experienced. Several red and blue soldiers gather on opposite sides of the creek, watching the fight. Luke, Grover, and Chiron arrive.
Can we stop it?
Not yet.
Annabeth slashes Percy at every opportunity. Percy's arms and legs have deep cuts in them. There's a wound above his right eye. He is weak, can barely hold up his sword. Annabeth is starting to sympathize with him.
Surrender.
Percy shakes his head. No way. He attacks slowly, exhausted. His swings are labored. Annabeth easily deflects the blows. Annabeth raises her sword, flips it in the air, grabs it by the blade, and swings it at Percy's head. Crack! Percy's helmet flies off his head. He falls down into the shallow waters at the creek's edge, almost unconscious. The red soldiers raise their swords in the air and chant, Athena, Athena, Athena. They congratulate Annabeth, but she doesn't look happy. She watches Percy, feeling remorseful. Percy's bloody, battered body lies a few feet from the river's edge. Blood drips from his mouth. A distant male voice echoes in his head.
The voice is Poseidon.
Go to the water, Percy. The water.
Percy uses his last bit of strength, crawling toward the water. He collapses, his fingertips touch the water. Suddenly, water from the creek slithers up Percy's hand and arm, moving around Percy's body. The water crawls up Percy's skin and covers him in a thin, wet veneer. Percy's wounds instantly heal. Percy's eyes open, his muscles tighten. His hand moves and grabs the handle of his sword. He slowly rises to his feet. Behind him, the water in the creek shoots up into the air. All the kids stare in awe. Annabeth turns to see what is happening. She is struck speechless by the sight of Percy dripping wet, standing in front of a giant water trident. 6 red soldiers rush forward to attack. Fighting like an expert soldier, Percy quickly and effortlessly takes them down one by one. Then Annabeth charges Percy. Their blades clash. It's a hard-fought, intense duel. Percy skillfully knocks the sword out of Annabeth's hand and sends her falling to the ground. He stands over Annabeth, staring confidently down into her eyes. The tip of his sword is pointed at her heart.
You drool. Press your mouth.
Annabeth wipes her mouth and then exchanges a slow smile with Percy. He raises his sword high in the air.
Poseidon!
He starts chanting, Poseidon! Poseidon!
Poseidon!
But it soon turns into Percy! 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 Luke can't believe what he just witnessed. Grover runs up and practically tackles Percy.
I can't believe it either.
Standing apart from the crowd, Chiron watches. A small smile appears on his lips. Percy looks at Chiron, gives a small, confident nod. Exterior commons area outside later that night. A huge bonfire rages in the commons area of Greek Row. Kids from all the houses are celebrating, like warriors after a battle. Satyrs and centaurs mingle with the kids. Glowing ambrosia flows from large jars into mugs and goblets. A wild boar cooks on a spit. Percy and Grover work their way toward the ambrosia. Kids congratulate Percy, patting him on the back. He seems ill at ease with the attention. 2 Aphrodite girls smile at Percy, oozing sex appeal.
Oh, I love a man who can handle a sword.
Nearby, Annabeth is talking to a few kids. She glances over, sees the girls fawning over Percy. A flicker of jealousy registers on Annabeth's face. The Aphrodite girls turn to exit, each giving Percy a kiss on the cheek. Grover nearly faints. Annabeth walks up to Percy.
Like a hero?
More like a mutant. I'm not gonna grow a fishtail or gills or anything like that.
Not likely. Although a huge ego isn't out of the question.
Annabeth fills a goblet with golden ambrosia. Percy is attracted to her, yet cautious, suspicious.
You know, you almost killed me out there. I could have died if I was normal.
But you aren't. Besides, I always knew.
How?
Hands him the goblet of ambrosia.
You drank the ambrosia. There's a reason it's called food of the gods. If a pure mortal drank ambrosia, it would kill them. Your blood would have been boiled and your bones turned to dust.
You didn't know that when you gave it to me.
Woman's intuition.
Intuition? You bet my life on intuition.
Well, fuck yeah.
Shrugs, smiles, takes a long drink of ambrosia. Percy narrows his eyes, looking at her.
I get the sense that you don't like me very much.
It's possible. I mean, our parents kind of hate each other.
They do?
And I definitely have strong feelings for you. I just haven't decided if they're positive or negative.
Let me know when you figure it out.
Well, you'll be the first.
She smiles, raises her glass, drinks. Percy does the same. Their eyes are locked, a spark of romance.
They're 12 in the book, everyone.
Suddenly freezes, spots something off screen. In the distance, Annabeth sees 3 pairs of glowing red dots.
No, that can't be possible.
What?
He turns. The red eyes are getting closer and closer. Annabeth screams, warning the others.
Hellhounds!
Everyone stops what they're doing. The kids see the trio of red eyes. They panic, running for their lives.
How did they get in?
I don't know. The camp's under available protection against underworld forces. Someone must have lifted it.
3 hellhounds charge into the camp. They are demonic beasts, hounds the size of buffalo. Lava red eyes, fangs like daggers. Chiron runs up, shoves Percy out of the way, just as one of the hounds charges right in front of him.
Over! Get Percy out of here!
Chiron removes his pen, flicks it. The pen transforms into the sword. Centaurs and kids spring into action. They grab their swords, bows, and arrows, and prepare to fight. Percy grabs a sword.
Percy, no!
They need help!
The hellhounds are ruthless. They drag one kid away. Another gets mauled. Annabeth fires a dozen arrows into one of the beasts, but it doesn't faze the creature. The 3 hellhounds circle back, seeking out Percy. They see him and charge at Percy. Chiron leaps into the hellhound's path and stabs one with his sword. It falls to the ground, dead. 3 other centaurs surround the other hellhound. It charges right through them. Chiron hurls the sword. It impales the beast, killing it instantly.
Chiron, watch out!
The last hellhound hits Chiron. He falls, bleeding. Percy immediately grabs Chiron's sword. The hellhound sees him, charges. Percy runs straight for the hellhound. There's a collision. They're on a collision course. At the last second before impact, Percy drops and slides under the beast, raising his sword. It slashes along the beast's underside. The hellhound is mortally wounded. Percy stands, looks down at the dying beast. Grover and Annabeth join Percy. The beast lifts its head, looks at Percy. The beast speaks in a slow, weak, demonic voice.
Where is the bolt?
I don't have it. I'm not the thief.
Oh, man.
Right there.
Listen, if you want your mother back, bring Hades the balls.
My mother's dead. You have another line. Right there.
No! She's still alive! Abducted by Hades. It's on. I can't. Bring him the lightning bolt in exchange for your mother.
The beast closes its eyes. Its breathing slows to a stop. Dead. Percy exchanges a look with Annabeth and Grover. He turns, sees Chiron lying on the ground, his leg badly wounded. Percy runs to Chiron. Grover and Annabeth follow. Interior. Chiron's stable / home. Later. Filled with books, weapons, and alchemical devices. Chiron is sitting as Annabeth bandages his leg wound. Grover and Percy are watching, but Percy's mind is miles away. He's flicking the pen sword on and off. Chiron looks at Percy.
That sword has a name.
Percy reads the Greek name engraved along the sword handle.
Anaklusmos.
In English, it means riptide. I want you to keep it.
Really?
You'll be needing it a lot more than me. It's made of celestial bronze and lethal to any creature from the underworld.
Hades never sent his creatures into our camp before.
With Olympus in turmoil, he will only get bolder. As long as he thinks Percy has the bolt, he'll stop at nothing.
Percy stands, walks to Chiron, looks at him, very solemn.
Chiron, the hellhound. It spoke to me. It told me that my mom is alive.
What?
Such my Hades!
Hades has been known to abduct the living, like Persephone, his wife.
That sucks. The hell is that? And I could get her back and return for the bolt.
But you don't have the bolt.
Yeah, I know. Convince Zeus that I'm not the thief. Can't I do the same with Hades? When he realizes I'll have the bolt, he'll give me mom back.
It isn't that simple.
Why not?
Zeus and Hades are very different. Zeus can be stubborn, but he is honorable, fair. Hades is the master of darkness and deceit, the personification of evil. When he finds out that you aren't the lightning thief, he'll kill both you and your mother.
There is silence. Percy is devastated, helpless.
What can I do?
Chiron rises up, his wound dressed. He places his arm firmly on Percy's shoulder, looks him in the eye.
Stay with our original plan. Tomorrow we go to Olympus. Once you've convinced Zeus of your innocence, we will do everything in our power to bring your mother back. I swear.
Percy, his face filled with frustration and disappointment, looks at Chiron and slowly nods. Grover and Annabeth exchange a glance. Exterior, Poseidon's palace, later night. The door opens. Percy peeks outside. The coast is clear. He steps out with his backpack flung over his shoulder. As he starts to walk away, a voice interrupts.
Going somewhere?
Grover is sitting on the roof, chewing a bushy plant. He drops down in front of Percy.
Out for a walk.
Percy steps around him, continues on his way. Then Annabeth walks out from behind the fountain, right in his path.
Okay, one small victory and you think you're ready to take on the world?
Look, I just found out that my mother is still alive. She's the most important thing in my life, and my life sucks, so I'm gonna get her back.
Jesus Christ. You're going to walk all the way to Hades and fight the Lord of the Underworld?
If I have to.
Do you even know how to get there?
If I had to guess, say down.
Jesus.
I'll let you do this.
I wasn't really asking for your permission.
I mean, I can't let you go by yourself. I'm your protector. I'm going with you.
I don't need any help. Something I need to do alone.
Yeah, hang on. We weren't asking for your permission.
Percy looks at Annabeth. You too?
Earlier today, you wanted to kill me. Now, you want to risk your life to help me?
My mom always looks out for heroes. It's in my blood. And if we're going to succeed, it's going to take some brains and not just pretty blue eyes, a fancy pen, and a set of disgusting hooves. No offense.
Offense taken.
So like it or not, Percy, you've got company.
Percy looks at them, resigns himself.
How do we get there?
Interior Hermes' house, Luke's room, later. It's filled with fun house novelties, trick mirrors, clowns, a fortune teller machine, etc. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth sit across from Luke.
What makes you think I'd know something like that?
Your dad's the messenger of the gods. He's one of the few who can get in and out of the underworld. Surely he's told you something.
My dad's a prick. I've never even met him.
Then we have a lot in common.
Luke gives Percy a devilish smile.
But I have broken into my father's house on several occasions.
Luke climbs a ladder to grab a shoebox from the top shelf. He tosses the shoebox to Percy, who opens it. Inside is a pair of winged sneakers. They're very cool.
Flying shoes?
My gift to you. Look underneath.
Percy lifts the shoes out of the box. Beneath them is a folded yellow piece of parchment. Percy opens it, revealing a tattered map of the United States.
People have gone to the underworld without having to be dead. Hercules did, and Orpheus. Getting in is the easy part. It's getting out that's the trick.
Luke points to the map. The town of Rumson, New Jersey begins to glow. An address magically appears next to it.
This will lead you to the locations of the 3 green pearls.
Green pearls? That wasn't in the book.
This is a copy of the map that belongs to Hades' wife, Persephone. She keeps the green pearls hidden for her many lovers to use when Hades is away. They provide a quick escape to the underworld. You can use them to get out.
But how do they work?
Put a drop of your blood on the pearl and then shatter it. Close your eyes and then imagine the place you want to go. The pearls will take you there.
They nod. Luke gives Percy one last item, his ancient engraved bronze shield, the shiny golden handle.
Take this
Your shield?
for protection.
Thanks, Luke. I love you.
Percy stands to exit. Luke calls out to him.
Percy,
Percy looks back.
if you run into my father along the way,
Yeah.
kick his ass for me.
Deal?
Interior Greyhound bus. Later, night. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth sit next to each other on the half-full bus. Percy is studying the map.
That's how yours truly, Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon, ended up on the highway to hell. I'm on a highway to hell. That's in the movie.
AC/DC's Highway to Hell fills the soundtrack.
They really thought they did something.
Camera dollies into the map, zeroing in to the first location, New Jersey. Exterior, New Jersey, the following afternoon, day. A deserted 2-lane highway in the Badlands of New Jersey. The Greyhound bus pulls to the side of the road. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth step off the bus, all wearing backpacks. The bus pulls away, not exploding. Across the street is Auntie M's Garden Emporium. There's no gnomes.
Weird it didn't explode or anything.
I know. It's a rundown, corrugated steel shack with dead plants, cement fountains, and a dozen weathered statues. Cherubs, lions, angels. The place feels deserted, save for 2 cars parked in front. A rusted pickup truck and a 1993 Cadillac Eldorado with Illinois plates.
You sure this is the place?
What the map says.
Interior,
Us
Auntie
and
M's
ourselves.
office/shack, moments later, day. The kids enter. It's dark, dusty, and deserted.
Hello? Anyone here?
Grover picks up a cobwebbed phone, listens for a dial tone.
Dead.
Auntie M must have gone back to Kansas.
Percy opens the cash register's drawer. It's full of American cash and several ancient Greek gold coins, drachmas. Percy pushes open the creaky screen door leading to the back of lot. He steps outside.
Check this out.
Exterior, Auntie M's Garden Emporium, back lot, day. Annabeth and Grover join Percy. A winding serpentine gravel path leads across acres of statuary. Hundreds of lifelike statues create a maze-like atmosphere. There are animals, tourists, soldiers from all eras, gargoyles, etc.
Must be thousands of them. How are we supposed to find a pearl in this cement stack?
You're the great strategist.
Grover walks to an old, enjoyed Coca-Cola ice cooler.
Anyone thirsty?
He opens it, startled to find dozens of live mice scurrying around inside. He quickly closes the door.
Never mind.
Let's split up, check every statue. The pearl could be inside one of them.
What a good idea.
They walk into the statue maze and split off in 3 directions. As they do, a gargoyle's head appears to turn, ever so slightly, in their direction. Exterior, statue maze, Grover's path, day. Grover hobbles among the statues, tapping them with an ancient dagger. The statues are all solid and very lifelike in strange everyday poses. Grover taps a Roman soldier, solid. Grover moves on. The Roman soldier begins to move and lifts his sword. Grover, hearing a noise, looks back. Nothing. The Roman soldier is stiff, but now his sword is held high. Grover doesn't notice and moves on. Exterior, statue maze, Percy's path, day. Percy taps the statues. All solid, he comes upon a relatively new statue. A middle-aged man wearing a Chicago Cubs hat, holding a map as if he were asking for directions. There is a look of horror on the man's face. At the end of the row, Percy sees a large statue of a sleeping, coiled cobra. Percy walks toward it. Exterior, statue maze, Annabeth's path, day. Annabeth taps each statue and marks them with an X after she's examined them. From the corner of Annabeth's eye, she sees a quick blur. Someone is running between the statues.
Hello? Is someone there?
She turns and, shock! Annabeth runs into a crazed, scared, hysterical woman in her late 50s.
Have to leave. Have to get out. She's coming.
Who's coming? What's going on?
We stopped for directions. Bill, my husband. Stone.
The woman grabs Annabeth, pulls her through the maze. Exterior, statue maze, Grover's path, day. As Grover walks, 5 more statues come to life. They follow Grover like cement zombies, led by the Roman soldier. Every time Grover turns back, the statues assume their frozen position. Grover stops in front of the statue of an old satyr.
Hey, you look like my Uncle Ferdinand. That's impossible. Uncle Ferdinand was killed by Medusa. Auntie.
Whack! A concrete sword blade barely misses Grover and shatters Uncle Ferdinand. Grover spins and finds himself surrounded by living statues. They are closing in on him.
Percy! Annabeth! We're in Medusa's lair!
On Percy, standing in front of the coiled cobra as he hears Grover's warning. Suddenly, the serpent's eyes open, revealing that one of them is a green pearl. The cobra strikes at Percy. He rolls away just in the nick of time. Percy whips out his pen, clicks it. The pen transforms into Riptide. On Annabeth, the hysterical woman leads Annabeth through the statue maze.
Get out before she finds us.
Annabeth tries to break free, but the woman's grip is strong. On Grover, the statues close in. Grover raises his clutches like their Chinese fighting sticks. He kicks off his shoes, exposing his hooves.
You ugly stiff wanna fight?
Grover goes all shallow in satyr on their stone asses. He whacks them with his crutches, kicks them with his powerful hooves. One kick and the statues crumble. On Percy, the cobra's tail whips at him. Percy slams into a group of statues, knocks them over like bowling pins. Percy rises up. The cobra strikes again. Percy dives out of the way. Just as Grover leaps into action, the cobra turns toward Grover, and in that instant, Percy hurls his sword. Riptide flies through the air and impales the cobra right below the eye. The cobra falls, crumbling into 100 pieces. The green pearl, the size of a golf ball, rolls to Percy's feet. He picks it up. Grover picks up the sword, and it turns back to a pen. He hands it to Percy, who is concerned, worried.
Where's Annabeth?
On Annabeth, the hysterical woman continues to pull Annabeth through the maze of statues. Annabeth finally stops the woman.
Look, you've got to tell me what's going on. Who are we running from?
Leaving so soon?
Annabeth turns to the direction of the voice. A woman, dressed all in black, is standing there. She is wearing a long black gown that covers everything but her hands. Her hair is wrapped in a black turban. She wears impenetrable black sunglasses. This is Medusa.
Leaving so soon.
The hysterical woman screams. Annabeth backs away. Medusa looks at Annabeth, sniffs the air around her.
You have such beautiful gray eyes. I've only seen those eyes like that once before.
Medusa slowly starts to unwrap her turban.
On the face of the bitch that did this to me.
As she unwraps her turban, we see the face of Medusa for the first time. Greenish, cracked, distorted, and pulsating. She removes the last of the turban, revealing the living, hissing snakes that are her hair. The snakes are snapping at each other, angry. Annabeth is freaked.
The daughter of Athena, here in my emporium. And my hair is so unruly.
Medusa walks to the Coca-Cola cooler and opens it. Medusa bends down, lowers her head into the cooler. When she pulls her head out, each of her hair snakes has a mouse in its mouth, swallowing them. It's a horrific sight. This causes the snakes to calm down slightly, stop fighting each other. Medusa approaches the girls. Annabeth recoils in horror as the snakes snap at her. Medusa lowers her sunglasses.
I've seen your eyes. It's time for you to see mine.
She takes off her glasses, revealing her glowing yellow eyes. Annabeth quickly looks away. The hysterical woman can't resist a peek. She looks and is hypnotized. As she stares into Medusa's eyes, she begins to turn to stone. Her hand turns to stone, still holding Annabeth's arm. Annabeth shudders, but can't break free from the cement grip. Medusa moves her face to within inches of Annabeth's face. The snakes feel Annabeth's face, as if it were the fingers of a blind person. Annabeth keeps her eyes sealed.
What a wonderful addition you'll make to my collection. Or perhaps I'll send you back to Mom, one piece at a time.
Exterior, statue maze, day. Percy and Grover watch from the cover of the statues.
How are we supposed to fight something we can't look at?
You can look at her reflection in a mirror or something.
Grover pulls an eye touch from his pocket, holds it up. Medusa is visible in the reflective back. Percy grabs it.
You get Annabeth while I distract Medusa.
Percy sighs, sneaks off, eye touch in one hand, the pen in the other. He ducks behind a large statue, holds out the eye touch to get a view of Medusa, who is still in Annabeth's face.
Sooner or later, you will open those big gray eyes. The temptation to look is too hard to resist.
I could resist your ugly ass face for a long time.
Medusa spins around, hisses.
Who's that? Who's there?
Medusa walks to the edge of the statue maze. She looks around, sniffs the air. Percy moves swiftly from statue to statue, keeping a view of Medusa in his eye-touch mirror.
I can smell you, demigod. Come out. I may let you live.
Medusa walks into the statue maze. Seconds later, Grover runs out to Annabeth. He whispers to her,
You can open your eyes. It's me, Grover.
Grover, thank God. Auntie is...
Grover slams his crutch into the arm of the hysterical woman statue. It crumbles, releasing Annabeth.
Medusa, we know.
Interior, statue maze, day. Medusa races through the maze, honing in on Percy. Even the snakes are searching, looking around. But Percy runs ahead, watching her every move, and his eye touches reflective surface.
Who are you? Why are you here?
My name is Percy Jackson.
He stealthily ducks into another position. Medusa follows.
Son of Poseidon.
As Medusa gets closer and closer, Percy grips his pen.
So it is true, the mighty Poseidon has a child.
Percy doesn't respond. Medusa is too close. A few more steps and she'll be in striking distance.
You can hide for long, lightning thief. These statues are not just for my victims.
She lets out a loud, terrifying hiss.
They are my slaves.
The statues near Percy come to life, grab him. The eye touch falls to the ground. Medusa steps forward, gets right in Percy's face. He closes his eyes. The snakes are all posed to strike at once.
I'll give you a choice. Give me the lightning bolt, or die by the poison of fangs of my serpents.
A car horn blares. Medusa looks up, sees her rusted pickup truck crashing through the path of statues, heading down the path toward them. Grover is at the wheel. Annabeth is beside him. They are blindfolded. Percy uses the distraction to kick Medusa away. He clicks the pen, turns it into the sword, and breaks free from the statue. Just as the pickup plows into the statue maze, statues tumble and crumble as the dust clears. Medusa looks around angrily. She sees no sign of Percy. She sees the eye touch lying in the rubble. Medusa picks it up. She turns it around to the shiny side. She sees Percy's reflection. He's standing right behind her.
Add this to your playlist.
Percy swings the sword. Whack! Medusa's head goes flying. It hits the windshield of the truck and falls to the ground. Grover and Annabeth get out of the truck, take off their blindfolds. Percy joins them and they see the hair snakes dragging Medusa's head away across the ground.
That's something you don't see every day.
We should take it with us.
The head? Are you kidding?
Her eyes still work, dead or alive. Never know when something like that might come in handy.
Give me your jacket.
What?
Your jacket. We need something to wrap it in. At least until we can get an ice bucket, and I'm too pretentious to use mine.
Grover reluctantly gives Percy his jacket. Percy grabs the head, wraps it up. Percy tosses the head back to Grover. who fumbles it like a hot potato and tosses it to Annabeth. She tosses it into the back of the truck, where it lands with a squishy thud. Percy holds up the pearl for all to see.
1 down. 2 to go.
Interior, Auntie M's office. Moments later, day. Percy opens the cash register, takes the cash and gold drachmas. Exterior, deserted highway, day. Medusa's truck peels out onto the highway. Interior, truck, front seat, day. Rover drives. Percy and Annabeth are in front with him. Percy studies the map. Annabeth holds the green pearl up to the light.
You think Luke could have warned us that Medusa was guarding this?
Maybe he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the next location?
On the map, the second address appears. Centennial Park, Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville.
Grover nods, floors the gas. The shocking Pink's Venus blasts from the radio. Dissolve to interior truck, later, night. Annabeth and Percy are fast asleep. Her head is on his shoulder. Grover's head is bobbing as he fights off sleep. The pickup glides into the oncoming lane of traffic. Headlights shine on them, and a car honks. Grover jerks awake, sees the oncoming car, screams, and swerves back into the right lane. Percy and Annabeth jolt awake as the pickup fishtails in the shoulder, then gets back on the road. Grover is startled, freaked.
We should stop for the night.
Exterior, Motel 6, night. Somewhere on the I-70 West heading toward Missouri. The motel is located next to an interstate exit. The vacancy light is on. The pickup truck pulls into the parking lot. Interior, Motel 6 office, lobby, night. A cramped, dusty reception area. The manager, a scrawny 74-year-old, sits behind the desk. Grover is wearing his handicap disguise, enters with Annabeth and Percy.
We need a room.
You got an ID?
The manager stares them down suspiciously. Percy takes out a wad of cash, peels off 5 20s. The manager grabs a bill, holds it up, looks at it, then looks at Percy.
The spitting image.
Interior, Motel 6 room, night. Percy opens the door. They enter a small, musty old room. There is one queen bed. Grover's pockets are packed with countless vending machine snacks.
Only one bed.
I'll sleep in the chair.
Grover dumps out the pile of snacks onto the bed. He plops down in the chair, clicks on the TV, and starts eating a Snickers bar, wrapper and all. Grover goes to the adult movie pay channels and makes a selection.
What?
Grover grabs the remote and turns off the Annabeth grabs the remote and turns off the TV. Grover glares at her.
Isn't this a child's movie?
You watch a movie?
Percy unwraps his Snickers, sits on the bed, looks to Annabeth.
Pretty big bed. Maybe we could both.
She throws a pillow at him.
Floor or bathtub, your call.
Nice.
Interior, Motel 6, bedroom, bathroom, later night. Percy fills the sink with ice and places Medusa's head in it. He has duct taped her eyes shut, so there is no danger of stoning themselves. Percy and Annabeth, she's wearing cotton boxers and a t-shirt ready for bed, both grimace at the head. Its skin bluish, surrounded with floppy dead snakes.
Percy, get in here.
Interior, main bedroom, night. Percy and Annabeth hurriedly enter. Grover, covered in crumbs, surrounded by half-eaten junk food, finishes chugging a Coke, then starts chewing on the can. He looks at Percy.
You're on TV.
On the TV screen, a news anchor sits at a desk. A school yearbook photo of Percy is on the screen behind her.
And still no word on the disappearance of 17-year-old Percy Jackson and his mother, Sally. Gabe Ugliano, Sally's husband, maintains that the 17-year-old Percy is behind the disappearance.
Cut to Gabe, standing in front of his garage, being interviewed by a reporter.
Kid's been in trouble his whole life, a real loser.
Percy watches the screen, stoic. Annabeth looks at him sympathetically.
I mean, what kind of deranged person kidnaps his own mother?
Mr. Ugliano is offering a cash reward for any information on the whereabouts of his wife, son, stepson.
Kid's no blood relation to me.
Percy looks away. Grover tries to lighten the situation.
Cool, you're a fugitive.
This is going to complicate things.
Percy doesn't respond. He stands, exits, shutting the door behind him. Annabeth and Grover exchange a concerned look. Exterior, Motel 6, pool, night. Percy swims the length of the pool underwater, purging his emotions. When he surfaces, Annabeth is standing there.
Nice work today saving us from Medusa. Thanks. Friends?
Percy reaches up and pulls Annabeth into the pool.
Wow.
Kids movie.
Mess with the son of Poseidon. You're gonna get wet.
Annabeth splashes frantically, like she's drowning.
Can't swim.
That's pathetic.
Percy panics, reaches for her, and she leaps up and shoves his head under the water. When he surfaces, she's laughing.
Mess with the daughter of Athena? You're gonna get outsmarted every time.
And I'm glad you're on my side.
They exchange a warm smile.
So why do our parents hate each other?
All right, they both wanted to be the patron god of Athens. The people chose Athena. Poseidon was insulted. He cursed the city so they would never have water. Our parents have hated each other ever since.
My old man sounds like a bigger jerk than my stepfather.
I doubt that. Besides, that's the historical version. I think there was another reason your father got so angry at my mom.
What's that?
He had a huge crush on her and she blew him off.
How do you know it wasn't the other way around?
You haven't met my mom.
What's she like?
Intense, always busy. The rare time we spend together, she criticizes everything I do, points out all my weaknesses. She says it's to make me stronger and wiser, but it only pisses me off. She'd be furious if she knew I was helping you.
So that's why you came. Rebelling against mommy. You want her to notice you. See how tough you are.
Maybe. A little. But I have other reasons too.
They look deep into each other's eyes. Intense attraction.
Like what?
They slowly lean into each other, lips getting closer.
Like,
Their lips are almost touching. Their kiss is interrupted by a flashlight beam shining on them.
What's going on here?
We're talking.
we're just talking, I swear.
Help in the book, so I don't know.
No funny business in the pool. Get out.
Percy and Anna climb out, their moment gone. The manager walks away. The two share an awkward beat of silence.
I'm gonna chill out here for a while. I mean, you can stay if.
Actually, I'm pretty tired. I think I'll just call it a night.
Thank
Good night.
God.
She gives him a peck on the cheek and walks away to the room. Percy sighs, frustrated. Exterior, Motel 6 pool. The following morning, dawn. Percy is asleep at the bottom of the pool. He opens his eyes, swims to the surface, and gets out. Exterior, Motel 6 office, dawn. The manager pours himself a cup of coffee, accidentally spills some on the desk. He grabs a USA Today newspaper to stop up the mess. Percy's photo is on the front page. Headline, Teen boy still missing, one in for questioning. He recognizes Percy, picks up the paper, examines it.
The spitting image.
Interior, motel room, moments later, day. Annabeth is in bed, waking up. Grover walks out of the bathroom holding the Medusa head by the snake hair.
All right, let's look at Medusa's head in the sink.
Okay, we know.
Motel room, day. The manager is peeking in through the gap between the curtains. He sees Grover holding up the severed Medusa head. The manager gags, holds back vomit. Terrified, he backs away from the window and bumps right into Percy.
Looking for something?
The manager, petrified, tries to speak.
You killed her? You killed your own mother?
Percy, confused,
Yeah, I don't.
sees the USA Today clutched in the manager's hand. Percy sees his photo on the front page, looks through the window, sees Grover inside the room holding Medusa's head. The manager pulls out a pistol, aims it at Percy.
Murderer!
No, I'm not. It's not what you think.
The manager backs away, still holding the gun on Percy. Percy steps forward, trying to explain.
You've got it all wrong. We only killed that person.
The manager clicks the pistol, ready to shoot. Percy closes his eyes, concentrates. The pool of water ripples. A huge wave erupts over the side of the pool. The manager looks up, sees the wave rise over the pool. It engulfs the manager and sweeps him down the street. Percy races back to the room.
Guys, we're checking out.
Exterior, Heartland of America, day. The pickup cruises on a 2-lane blacktop highway. The weather is getting more ominous. Dark clouds, heavy winds. Interior, truck, day. Everyone is quiet, reflective. Annabeth is asleep between Grover and Percy, her head on Percy's shoulder. He's looking out the window, watching the landscape pass before his eyes. Percy looks to Annabeth, resting peacefully on his shoulder. A small smile appears on Percy's face. Exterior, city skyline, the following morning. The pickup passes a sign that reads, "Welcome to Nashville, Athens of the South." Exterior, Nashville, Centennial Park, day. The pickup truck pulls up. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth step out. Percy wears sunglasses and a baseball cap pulled down to conceal his identity. Camera pulls back. Near in the middle of a large park, crowded with people. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth walk through the park, passing families on picnics, joggers, street performers to stand before the Parthenon, an exact duplicate of the ancient Greek architecture, directly in the middle of a modern Nashville park. The juxtaposition of past and present is striking. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth examine the map, looking up at the Parthenon.
Second pearl. It's in there somewhere.
Wish Luke's map had been a little more specific than Parthenon.
Interior, Nashville, Parthenon, day. Filled with tourists, Percy, and Grover, and Annabeth enter. The space is surrounded by imposing columns, housing a 41-foot statue of the goddess Athena. It's as if they've stepped back in time 4,000 years. Annabeth, slightly moved, looks at the statue. Percy notices the name Athena on the base of the statue, turns to Annabeth.
Your mom?
Annabeth nods.
Does she really look like that?
Slight resemblance.
Nice rack.
Excuse me?
Nothing. Hormones. Sorry.
Percy's eyes widen. He sees something off screen.
Up there.
Percy points to the top of the statue. Grover and Annabeth look up. The second green pearl is embedded in the middle of Athena's crown, surrounded by rare, colorful jewels.
Too easy.
Yeah, not really. It's 40 feet in the air. The place is filled with tourists and security guards. Are we supposed to just jump up and grab it?
Long pause. Percy smiles. An idea?
Maybe.
Close up, a shoebox. Percy's hands come into frame and pan and open the lid box. Inside are the winged shoes given to Percy from Luke. Camera pulls back. The three of them sit at a picnic table in the park. Percy picks up the winged shoes, examines them.
Luke gave me these for a reason. Tonight, after closing hours, I'll sneak in.
Exterior, Parthenon, later, night. Closed for the evening, the surrounding park is deserted, save for one security guard who sits in a small booth several feet from the Parthenon entrance. The guard is an acne-faced, gawky 23-year-old redneck. Hiding in a tall section of bushes, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover keep watch on the Parthenon. Percy takes off his sneakers, replaces them with the winged shoes. He stands, shuffles like a runner preparing for a marathon. He looks at Grover and Annabeth.
Any idea how these things work?
Break into a run, build up speed, like a jet on a runway. But it takes a bit of...
Percy runs forward through the parking lot. He's moving fast. Suddenly, he begins to lift off like a jet. Percy is propelled 10, 15 feet in the air. Then, Percy flips midair. Head over heels, he falls straight to the ground. He lands hard on his back. Smack.
Practice.
Annabeth and Grover run to Percy, who struggles to his feet, slightly shaken. Dazed, the wind knocked out of him.
Okay. All right, I can do this.
Exterior, Parthenon, later, night. The guard sits in his booth, head buried in a copy of Car and Driver magazine. High above, out of the guard's view, the silhouette of Percy flies across the moonlit sky. Percy swerves, bounces, flying slightly erratically. He's starting to gain control, maintain his balance. Staying in the air. Percy moves fast. Annabeth and Grover watch from the safety and cover of the bushes. Percy flies toward the Parthenon and soars through the columns. Interior, Parthenon, night. Percy flies inside, moving quickly. He soars toward the statue of Athena. Percy's flying is getting a bit more confident, smooth. Annabeth and Grover watch from the bushes, nervous, tense. Percy flies directly toward Athena. He is moving fast. He looks down at the shoes. A worried look covers his face. Grover, concerned, turns to Annabeth.
I forgot to teach him to slow down.
Percy can't slow down. Inches from the Athena statue, he crashes into the statue. The statue tilts, begins to fall. Percy flies back, managing to stop the statue from hitting the floor. The statue teeters at a 45-degree angle. Yeah, one guy. I'll do it. Using all of his strength, Percy pushes the statue upright into place. There is a small grinding sound as the statue fits back into its base. The guard looks up for a moment. Did he hear something? The guard shrugs to himself, goes back to reading his magazine. Percy, sweating, nervous, perches on the statue's shoulder. Percy is tiny compared to the large face of Athena, Mount Rushmore-like in its majestic grandeur. Percy looks up, sees the green pearl, the centerpiece of Athena's crown. Percy reaches up. He can only touch the bottom of the statue's earlobe. Percy begins to climb up onto the statue's earrings, toward the top of her head. Annabeth and Grover watch in breathless anticipation. Percy climbs upward. The statue's face is smooth, slippery. Percy's foot slips. He falls. Percy saves himself, grabbing onto Athena's crown. Grover and Annabeth catch their breath. Percy gets to his footing, begins to climb to the top of Athena's crown. From here, Percy is able to reach out and touch the green pearl. With some difficulty, Percy manages to remove the pearl from the crown. He holds it up victoriously for Annabeth and Grover to see.
He did it.
Not quite.
Grover points to the guard's booth. It's empty. Inside the Parthenon, Percy puts the green pearl into his pocket. He's about to fly away, suddenly interrupted.
Percy, be the security guard.
Get off the statue.
Percy looks down. Then the security guard stands below the statue. He holds a gun, pointed at Percy.
Yes, sir.
Nah.
Percy climbs down the face of the statue. He lands on the floor in front of the security guard. Percy raises his hands. The security guard grins.
You look familiar.
No.
You're that kid on the news. The one that killed his mother.
You're thinking of somebody else.
Nah, it's you. I remember the eyes.
Drop your gun.
The security guard turns. Grover and Annabeth stand a few feet away. Annabeth is holding a bow and arrow pointed at the security guard, who chuckles.
You think an arrow's gonna stop me?
I'm an Olympian.
I know who you are, daughter of Athena.
Annabeth, Grover, and Percy exchange a puzzled glance. The security guard turns to Percy.
I've been expecting you, Percy Jackson.
You know me?
Just give me the lightning bolt, and I'll let you go.
I don't have it.
I really hope to avoid this.
The security guard takes a deep breath and exhales. His outer skin explodes, showering the room with countless fragments. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover hide their eyes. Pieces of the security guard fly by them. All that remains of the security guard is a thick, swirling puff of smoke on the floor. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover slowly walk to the smoke. They look down. The smoke begins to clear, revealing a reptilian eye. More smoke clears. 2 eyes appear, followed by 3, 4, 6, 7. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover step back. 14 eyes are revealed on 7 different heads. The heads are reptilian, vicious, snarling. The heads rise up from the smoke, growing high above the kids' heads. The heads fully form into a giant, dragon-like body of the 7-headed
Hydra!
Annabeth shoots arrows at the Hydra. The stinging arrows only make the beast angrier. Its monstrous head swooped down, jaw snapping at Annabeth and Grover. They dive behind the stone columns for cover, setting off the alarm. Percy reaches into his backpack, pulls out Luke's shield. Percy leaps onto one of the Hydra heads. It tries to shake him off. The other Hydra heads lurch toward Percy, snapping their fang jaws. Percy twists to avoid them. He reaches into his pocket, removes his pen, and activates his sword. Another Hydra head swoops toward Percy. He swings the sword and decapitates the head. It spews thick green blood. The other 6 heads scream in pain. Percy leaps onto the other head, another head that thrashes at him, ripping away a piece of Percy's shoulder. Another head slashes Percy's thigh. Another head goes for the jugular, moments before Percy manages to decapitate it.
Percy, stop. You're only making it worse.
What are you talking about? I'm crushing it.
When you cut off one Hydra head,
The 2 headless necks twist around as if they're staring at Percy.
3 grow back.
Well, fuck.
3 more heads pop out of each of the necks. Now the Hydra is a beast with 11 heads. The heads snap at Percy, drawing more blood. Percy leaps from one head to the other, to another, and gets hung up by one of the fangs. It is ripped through his pant leg. Percy dangles helplessly, using its sword to keep the other heads at bay. The Hydra head flips Percy up into its mouth. Percy is stuck inside the Hydra's mouth. The beast bites down. Percy extends his shield. The Hydra's fangs strike down on the shield, locking the creature's mouth open, saving Percy. For a moment, but Percy is trapped, his shirt caught on the Hydra's fangs. Annabeth fires more arrows into the heads, annoying and distracting them. Percy can't break fire. Luke's shield is bending, about to snap. The Hydra fangs are only inches from Percy's midsection. He's about to get bitten in two. Annabeth continues to fire arrows. He calls to Grover.
Grover, do something!
Grover looks around for some sort of weapon. He spots Percy's backpack. An idea. Percy uses all of his strength to hold open the Hydra mouth, but the creature is too strong. The Hydra's mouth starts to close, his teeth inches from penetrating Percy's torso.
Guys, don't look back!
Grover stands behind them. He's unwrapped the Medusa head. He extends it forward toward the Hydra. Grover extends the Medusa head and rips the tape off Medusa's eyes, facing the Hydra. Hydra's eyes lock with Medusa's. The Hydra turns to stone. Annabeth's final arrows bounce off the Hydra's stone body. Percy knocks out some of the Hydra's stone teeth to free himself from the beast's mouth. Percy grabs Luke's bent shield and leaps into the stone Hydra neck. Percy slides down the neck to the ground. Grover puts the tape back over Medusa's eyes, places her head back into the backpack, and looks at Annabeth.
You're right. She did come in handy.
They turn, look back at the now stone Hydra. It fits in quite nicely with the Parthenon's architecture. Percy removes the green pearl from his pocket.
2 down, 1 to go.
Annabeth notices the burglar alarm blaring from inside.
Let's get back to the truck.
They hurriedly exit. Exterior Parthenon parking lot, night. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover run to their truck. They are interrupted by a sound.
Simon, you be the cop.
Okay. Raise your hands above your heads.
They turn. 3 police cars surround them. Cops aim their pistols at the kids. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover raise their hands. Suddenly there is a faint, distant sound of a powerful engine. It grows louder, louder. A black Humvee barrels through the crowd, smashes through police cars, and skids to a stop in front of the kids. The license plate reads, Warringer. The cops fire their guns. The driver rolls down his window. They think Bruce Willis. He is dressed in leather, adorned with military medals from various eras. His face is angular, hard, with a strong jaw. His head is shaved. He wears a soul patch. This is Ares, god of war. He lowers his aviator sunglasses and grins at Percy.
Your ride's here.
Ares?
God of war!
As bullets fly around them, Grover shouts.
I think we should get in.
Interior, Humvee, night. The kids jump in. Ares throws it into gear, lets out a war whoop, and drives straight in at the police line. They continue to fire on the Humvee. Bullets bounce off the windows. Exterior park, night. Ares plows right through their barricade and out of the park. Police cars chase after the Humvee. Interior, Humvee, night. Ares cackles wildly. Loves the chase.
What are you doing here?
Saving your ass.
Exterior, Nashville city streets, night. Police cars are in pursuit of the Humvee. Ares takes corners so fast that the Humvee tips on 2 wheels. Interior, Humvee, night. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth are freaked, scared.
We're all gonna die!
Casualties of war.
Exterior, Nashville streets, night. Police cars are now coming at the Humvee from all sides. Interior, Humvee, night.
Time to go stealth.
Ares flicks a dashboard switch. Exterior, city streets, night. Humvee disappears in the midst of the chase. It is now a shimmering shape, camouflaged from the human eye. The Humvee drives off into the night, free. Exterior, Chuck's Diner, night. The Humvee pulls into Chuck's, a 50s-style diner.
Anybody hungry? We got a long drive ahead of us.
Aries and the kids step out of the Humvee.
They're gonna be looking for this car. It's kinda unique.
Aries clicks the auto lock on his keychain. The Humvee transforms into a 1970s blue VW hippie van.
Not anymore.
Interior, Chuck's Diner, day. A modest family diner. The turtles, happy together, plays on the jukebox. Aries enters. As he passes the jukebox, you hear the 45 record scratch. The song changes to Van Halen's Running with the Devil. Aries struts down the restaurant aisle. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are behind him. Aries walks by each booth. His mere presence evokes calamity and tension. As Aries passes, babies cry. People start to argue. Aries sits in a booth at the back of the place. The kids join him. With sudden tension in the air, the kids are fidgety, uncomfortable. The waitress delivers the menus.
Thank you, ma'am. No menus. 4 cheeseburgers, rare.
I'm a vegetarian.
4 cheeseburgers, rare.
The waitress nods, walks away.
Who are you? Why are you really here, Aries?
Chiron sent me
Why?
to bring you to Olympus.
We'll get there. We got time.
Not much. You checked the weather recently?
The kids look out the window. The sky above is filled with swiftly moving black clouds, ominous, threatening.
Every day it gets worse. That means Zeus and Poseidon are gearing up to battle. Summer solstice is only 10 days from now, and if the bolt doesn't return to Zeus by then, it's war.
I'm getting my mom first.
Kind of selfish, kid. Putting your personal feelings over the face of civilization.
Once Zeus finds out I'm not the lightning thief, word will spread fast. Then Hades will kill my mother.
True.
So I need to save her first, then convince Zeus of my innocence. Like, use your head.
Unfortunately, you don't have much choice in the matter. You're my prisoner now.
Waitress arrives with the burgers. Aries lifts the burger bun, examines the beef. He snaps at the waitress.
I said rare.
I'm sorry, I told them.
He shoves his plate into the waitress's stomach, nearly knocking the wind out of her. Scared, she nods.
I'll get another one.
The other customers are staring. Aries turns, glares at them.
What are you looking at? Get back to stuffing your faces before I bash them in.
The patrons do as they're told. Aries looks back to Percy, grins, as if nothing happened. Speaks calmly.
So if you aren't the lightning thief, who is?
Hades?
No way.
If Hades possesses the bolt and the son of Poseidon, he has all the power and leverage he needs to take over Olympus. I'll bet he's using Percy's mom to lure him into a trap.
Hades isn't that bright. No. Whoever took the bolt would be much more clever. Someone who would want to start a war of the gods.
The kids look at Aries accusingly.
Oh, because I'm the god of war. I took it wrong. My business is all down here on Earth. And if you haven't noticed, it's booming right now.
And who else would steal it?
Someone real clever. A master strategist. Like Athena.
My mom?
Grover and Percy turn to Annabeth.
You think my mom is the lightning thief?
Mother, daughter, all the same. Maybe the real question is, why are you here? Grover is Percy's protector. But why did you come along? To keep an eye on these two? To get rid of all the loose ends?
My mom doesn't start wars.
First time for everything.
The burly, badass, muscular owner Chuck, covered with tattoos, wearing a stained apron, drops the new burger plate in front of Aries. Chuck leans into Aries' face.
Next time you yell at my waitress and berate my customers, you're gonna be wearing your food. Got that, Rambo?
You're right. I'm sorry. That was uncalled for.
Then, whack, whack, in 2 punches, Aries sends Chuck falling to the floor, bleeding, writhing in pain. Aries unfolds some bills, drops them on the table. He grabs his burger, heads for the door, shoving the kids ahead. Exterior, Chuck's Diner, moments later, night. Aries pushes the kids into the back of the van. Percy stops, desperate, looks at Aries.
Aries, please, let me go. I gotta try and save my mom. This is my last chance.
Sorry, kid. Can't do it.
He shoves Percy into the car. Ares jumps into the driver's seat, starts the van, and speeds out of the parking lot. Percy stares out the window, depressed. Interior, van, night. Ares drives. Percy is slumped forward, near tears. All of his hope gone. Annabeth exchanges a concerned look with Grover. She pauses, gets an idea, leans forward to Ares.
Psst. Ares!
What?
Did you ever stop and think about a war between the gods? It would be spectacular. The ultimate battle.
Yeah.
Haven't you been waiting for years for something like this?
Centuries.
Exactly. And look at us. Have you ever seen 3 such pathetic losers?
Ares glances to the rearview mirror.
Do we really look like we can defeat Hades? I'm betting that we get killed on our own little suicide mission. I'm betting we never even make it to Olympus. That Zeus never gets his bolt. And you know what that means?
War.
But if you take us to Olympus, well, there won't be a war. Only...
Peace.
Ares' eyes glaze over. Exterior, railroad tracks, later, night. Ares' van pulls up to the side of the tracks, located on a deserted country road. The back door slides open. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover get out. Ares rolls down his window.
I'll tell Chiron I couldn't find you.
Percy nods, exchanges a hopeful look with Annabeth.
I wish you good luck, but your survival ain't exactly in my best interest.
Ares closes the window, drives off. The van vanishes in a ball of light and a sonic boom. Grover watches.
Good God.
Percy embraces Annabeth.
Just like your mom. A master strategist. Thank you. So much.
They lean forward, look as if they're about to kiss. Grover clears his throat.
Okay, which way to the next portal?
Percy opens the map. The third location glows. Las Vegas, Nevada. Lotus Land Casino. In the distance, we hear a train whistle. Percy takes off along the railroad tracks, motions to Annabeth and Grover.
We got 10 days to save my mom and the world. Come on!
Exterior, railroad tracks, later, night. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover hurry along the track. A train pulling boxcars rolls toward them. Percy checks his map with a flashlight.
This one's headed west.
Percy starts running toward it. Annabeth and Grover follow. They run alongside the train. Percy leaps into one of the boxcars, reaches out his hand, and pulls Annabeth in.
Come on, Grover!
Grover runs along the sides of the train, plants his crutches like ski poles, and leaps in with a single bound. He flies right into the boxcar. Interior, train car, moving, night. Grover lands. He gets to his feet. Percy and Annabeth are staring at something.
We got company.
They're inside of a car filled with farm animals. Chickens, cows, goats. Interior, train car, later, night. A small fire burns in the middle of the boxcar. Grover, Percy, and Annabeth are seated around it. The animals surround them.
Don't look at me like that.
Like what?
Like that.
You're being paranoid.
I know what you're thinking.
No. Maybe. Okay, cross my mind for a second.
What are you two talking about? I want to feel included.
Grover thinks my mom is the lightning thief. Fucking asshole.
No. Not totally. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. She does hate Percy's dad, and with a little help from you, she could cause Poseidon great pain by hurting his son.
I wouldn't do anything to hurt Percy because I love him.
You almost killed him back at the camp.
That was before.
Before what?
Before I...
Annabeth can't answer, too filled with emotion. Her eyes fill with tears. She glances at Percy. hurries to the side of the train car, slides open the doors, and climbs outside onto the exterior ladder.
Annabeth! Wait!
Annabeth climbs onto the roof of the train car. Percy, annoyed, turns to Grover.
Smooth!
I'm your protector. I'm not supposed to trust anybody who gets close to you, even her.
No wonder you have so much trouble with the opposite sex. It's because you...
Uncalled for. Totally uncalled for.
Percy turns, dashes outside, and climbs up onto the boxcar roof. Grover steams. Exterior boxcar roof, night. A warm, romantic night. Annabeth sits on the moving train roof, looking up at the clear night sky filled with bright stars. She's crying. Percy walks up, sits beside her.
Hey.
A pause. He turns to him. He wipes a tear from her cheek.
Grover's right. I really didn't like you at first. I was a little jealous, competitive, but that's different now.
Percy moves closer to Annabeth. He puts his arms around her.
The last few days have been the most exciting time of my life. And it's all because of you.
Their eyes lock. They share their first kiss.
Quit.
Sorry, I'm not great.
Ew.
Interior boxcar. Later. Night. Grover, alone with the animals, tries to sleep on a pile of straw, covering himself with a burlap sack. Grover stares ahead, his face a map of frustration and loneliness. A goat saunters up, licks his face. Grover mumbles to himself.
Percy's up there, probably hooking up with a beautiful girl, and I'm down here with you.
The goat continues to lick Grover's face. Grover smiles, warming up to the goat's affection. Grover giggles.
Stop it.
He looks up at the goat, ponders.
So, in this light, just the right angle, it's sort of cute.
The goat kicks Grover in the head and walks away. Grover sits up, angry, insulted.
What? It is perfectly natural for me to have feelings for you. Well, half of me.
The goat bleats. Grover pulls the burlap sack over his head.
Good night.
Exterior, desert. Train station. The next morning, day. The train pulls into into an old ancient train station, alone in the middle of the desert. There's nothing around for miles and miles, only dry, barren land and rocky plateaus. The train comes to a stop. On top of the boxcar, Annabeth lies in Percy's arms. They are asleep. Grover's head pops up over the side of the boxcar top.
Hey, Romeo and Juliet.
Percy and Annabeth wake up.
End of the line.
Percy and Annabeth climb down to the train platform. Grover gives them their backpacks.
How far to Las Vegas?
Some way.
We can hitchhike.
Percy looks to the edge of the platform. A sheriff's car is parked here.
Roads aren't safe.
What are we supposed to do then?
Percy slings his backpack over his shoulders and grabs his shield. He takes off across the bleak desert terrain.
You're gonna walk all the way to Vegas?
Percy ignores him, keeps walking. Annabeth grabs her backpack, follows after Percy. Grover sighs, follows. Exterior, series of shots, day. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth march across the scorching, shimmering desert landscape like young T.E. Lawrences. As the sun beats down on them, they get slower, dirtier, and more parched. They have torn pieces of clothing wrapped around their heads for protection. Annabeth glares up at the hot sun, sees buzzards circling. Exterior, desert, later, dusk. The sun is setting. Covered in dust, grime, and sweat, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover have stopped to rest in the shade of a rocky mesa. Annabeth holds an empty water bottle over her mouth, hoping for one more drop. She tosses it away.
Empty.
They continue walking, exhausted, defeated. Dissolve to exterior desert, later, night. It is bitterly cold. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are hungry, cold, filled with a sense of impending doom. They are hovered around a dying fire. Percy's arms are wrapped around Annabeth, who has her arms wrapped around Grover. The three of them are shivering.
We're still a long way from Vegas. Without water, food, we're gonna die out here.
The kids exchange worried looks. Dissolve 2. Exterior, desert. The next morning. Sunrise. The kids are asleep. Something approaches. Large, moving shadows fall over them. You hear snorting, the sound of hooves. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover wake. They look up and see a wild horse.
What?
The animal stares down at them. The kids leap up, a little freaked. There are 3 wild horses, how convenient, surrounding them. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth stand. The horses are loaded with baskets of fresh fruit, vegetables, and canteens of water. Grover immediately runs to the basket, begins to stuff his face with the food. One of the horses makes a motion, lowers his head, beckoning Percy. The horse bends one leg and kneels in front of Percy.
He wants you to get on. Guess it pays to have a dad who's god of the horses.
Percy smiles, grabs his backpack and shield. He climbs onto the horse. Once Percy is on, the horse rises. The other 2 horses kneel in front of Annabeth and Grover. They climb on. Exterior, desert vista, later day. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover ride the horses across the rocky desert. Percy and Annabeth are smiling, laughing, feeling free, alive, leaving a trail of dust. Grover is behind them, doing everything he can to hold on. Exterior, desert's edge, sunset. The horses are standing on a rocky plateau. The kids are sitting on top of the horses, looking out of the glittering lights of Las Vegas. Percy checks his map. The site of the final green pearl reads, Las Vegas, Lotus Land.
Las Vegas. Last stop before hell.
As they ride down toward the city, we see dark, ominous storm clouds churning in the distance, moving westward. Exterior, Las Vegas, Lotus Land, later that night. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth ride along the Vegas Strip on their horses. Shocked onlookers stare at these 3 kids on horseback. Up ahead in Lotus Land, a glittery, glamorous, million-watt casino. It's designed as a huge neon flower, the petals lighting up and blinking. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover arrive at the entrance. The horses kneel, the kids hop off. Grover is covered in dust, walking bow-legged in tremendous pain.
Gold on a horse ain't natural.
Countless Lotus Land valets descend upon them.
Welcome to Lotus Land.
The valets take the horses, the kids enter. Interior, Lotus Land, night. Unlike any casino we've ever seen, a teenager's paradise. In addition to the regular slots and casino games, there are hundreds of video games, everything from classic Pac-Man to Dance Dance Revolution. The place is filled with kids and teenagers, no parents or adults, save for the employees. There's something odd about the kids. They're dressed in clothes and hairstyles from every decade, spanning the 50s through the 90s. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover walk through the casino.
Where would you hide the green pearl?
An eager, too friendly bellhop rushes up to them.
Welcome to Lotus Island. Hope you've had a pleasant journey. Here's your room key.
We're not staying, just passing through.
It's complimentary. Room 4001. Take the elevator to the top.
No, really.
Persistent bellhop hands them each a green plastic card.
Your complimentary Lotus cash card. Good for everything in the hotel and casino. Your expense accounts are unlimited, and you never have to pay us back.
Think the guy could take a hint.
The bellhop scurries away. Kids exchange puzzled glances. Percy looks at the green card, annoyed. Oh.
Sorry.
The club waitress approaches, holding a tray of lotus flowers.
Flowers?
Percy takes one, sniffs it.
They're edible.
Percy and Annabeth each eat a flower. Very tasty. Grover takes a handful and shoves them in his mouth. Chews.
Delicious.
Here, room 4001. Later, night. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover enter a palatial suite. It has 3 separate bedrooms, a bar stocked with candy, soda, and chips, a huge plasma TV, sunken lounge area filled with pillows and beanbag chairs, a huge indoor swimming pool. The kids are impressed. They immediately start checking out the pad. Grover hits the bar, opens the refrigerator. It is filled with food. The inside of the fridge appears to go on for eternity. Interior, room 4001, bedroom, night. Annabeth opens a closet in one of the rooms. It is filled with the latest designer dresses and shoes. A young girl's dream. Annabeth is amazed, takes out a dress, holds it against her body. She looks at shoes, stunned.
They're all my size.
Interior, second bedroom, night. Percy is standing in front of another closet. It is filled with a variety of clothes, all his size. Suits, tuxedos, jeans, t-shirts, Nikes. Percy smiles. Annabeth runs into Percy's room, followed by Grover.
Let's go out tonight. Have some fun.
Wish we could, but we're on a time-sensitive mission, remember?
We are? What mission?
Percy pauses. He has to think about it. He can't recall.
That's a good question. I can't remember. Grover, why are we here?
I don't know. To have fun?
Right. Have fun. That's it. Okay. Let's have some fun.
Interior, Lotus Land, dance club, later, night. A disco ball spins, colored lights flash, dance music plays, dry ice mist covers the floor. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover enter. They look incredibly stylish. Percy wears a sleek, stylish black tuxedo. Annabeth is in a gorgeous ballroom gown. Grover is in tails and a top hat. A 70s dance classic fills the disco. Percy extends his hand to Annabeth.
May I have this dance?
They step on the dance floor, immediately find their groove. A group of gorgeous women walk up to Grover, drag him onto the dance floor. Percy and Annabeth look into each other's eyes, very much in love. They kiss.
Let's be here forever.
Why not?
They kiss again,
Ew.
interrupted by the sounds of shouting and applauding. They look up and see Grover in the middle of the dance floor. He is surrounded by kids watching his manic, wildly energetic dance. The girls love him. During his dance, Grover rips off pants, exposing his built lower half. Grover finishes with some show-topping breakdance moves. Percy and Annabeth laugh, look to each other, and share another deep kiss. Dissolve to interior, Lotus Land, montage, day/night. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are having fun at Lotus Land. Percy and Annabeth are inseparable.
It's disgusting.
They drive mini sports cars throughout the casino, play poker and blackjack, order a table full of desserts at a restaurant. Grover struts through the casino with a bevy of scantily clad beauties, gambling at each of the tables with them. He wins every game that he plays. At one point, Percy and Annabeth pass a 70s kid playing a vintage pinball machine. Percy accidentally bumps the kid.
Hey, you just cost me my high score.
Sorry, my bad.
You're what?
Percy examines the kid, who is wearing striped bell-bottoms, a pristine Star Wars t-shirt, and a bushy 70s fro.
How long have you been here?
A couple of weeks. Groovy place.
Groovy? What year is it?
The 70s kid pauses, has to think for a moment.
1977.
Percy is stunned, worried. He rubs his temples, hearing a deep voice inside his head.
Voices.
Percy, wake up. Focus. Focus.
Percy walks over to the mullet-haired 80s kid wearing parachute pants and a red and black leather jacket. The kid is playing Donkey Kong.
Excuse me, what year is it?
Check out my most excellent score.
Intense, Percy grabs the 80s kid by the collar.
What year?
Relax, dude. It's 1985, not the world.
Not 2020. Percy freezes, looks at all of the kids. Every single one of them is stuck at a specific time in the past. A voice in Percy's head echoes.
Percy, you need to get outside.
Something isn't right. I sense a disturbance in the force.
Percy shakes his head like he's coming out of a trance. He turns, standing beside a supersized roulette wheel. He notices something. A ball on the wheel is the third green pearl. Percy stares at the pearl, trying to figure out what it means, why it means so much to him. The ancient croupier gives Percy a menacing, suspicious look.
Enjoying your stay?
Fine, thanks.
Fine. just fine.
I mean, excellent, fantastic. We want to stay forever.
Percy starts to back away, but the croupier grabs him. Percy breaks free. The croupier speaks into his ear mic.
Percy Jackson's awake.
Percy looks at Annabeth.
Go upstairs. I'll meet you there.
What? But why?
Please, just do it.
Annabeth nods, hurries off. Percy turns, sees a group of Lotus eaters heading towards him. Percy runs off, pushes his way through the crowd. He leaps across the gambling tables, makes it to the roulette wheel, and snatches the third green pearl. He leaps off the table, runs to the glass elevators. The Lotus eaters are in hot pursuit. Percy gets in just before the doors close. Interior, room 4001, moments later. Percy barges in. Grover is surrounded by a pile of food wrappers, several young, hot women playing a video game. Annabeth is sipping a drink, munching on lotus flowers. Percy is tense, urgent.
We have to go now.
Yeah, we'll go tomorrow.
Or the next day.
Percy grabs Annabeth and Grover and throws them both into the room's swimming pool. They pop up out of the water, shocked, awake, angry.
Grover,
Sorry, hold on. It's moved.
just say, hey, why'd you do that?
Hey, why'd you do that?
You both need to wake up. You're in some kind of trance. I was too. Now listen to me. Focus. We're trapped in the land of Lotus eaters.
Trapped. But we just got here last night.
Lotus eaters, right. A cult that lives off of the lotus flower. When you eat a flower, it induces the appearance of eternal youth and forgetfulness. Makes you lose your desire to ever leave.
We gotta leave now. We'll be stuck here forever.
They hurriedly pack up their gear. Percy gathers up his stuff, shoving it in his backpack. He grabs his pen and his shield. The kids hurriedly exit. Grover blows one last kiss to the bevy of beauties. Interior casino floor, moments later. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth race across the floor. Lotus eaters swarm after them. Percy removes his pen, clicks it. It becomes a sword. Percy starts hacking his way through the Lotus eaters. A young man in 50s clothes is hit with the sword. He suddenly ages, turning into a withered old man before dropping to the floor. Grover sees a new Lotus Elon convertible on a rotating platform. A sign reads, "One lucky winner drives me home."
Deal.
They race to the car, jump onto the platform. Percy fends off the Lotus eaters while Grover hotwires the car. It starts. Percy and Annabeth fall into their seats as Grover floors it. The car sails off the platform, through the casino, and crashes through the front door. Exterior, Lotus Land / Las Vegas day. The car flies through the entrance and drives off into the night. Several young Lotus eaters run outside. The moment they leave the casino, their bodies age several years. They watch Percy's car drive away. The Lotus eaters turn and go back inside. As they pass through the casino entrance, their bodies return to their youthful state. Exterior, Vegas Strip, moments later, day. The sky is covered with dark, churning storm clouds. The wind is blowing fiercely, scattering debris. The Lotus Elon speeds along the middle of the Vegas Strip. A newspaper blows onto the windshield. Interior, Lotus Elon, day. Grover weaves in and out of traffic, trying to see as Annabeth grabs the newspaper. She looks at the date.
Oh shit, it's June 20th.
Percy grabs the paper, looks at it.
We were in there a week.
Felt like a day. What the hell?
June 20th. That means tomorrow is the summer solstice.
Actually, midnight tonight.
So how do we get to Hades?
Percy opens the map, revealing the glowing location of Hades. It reads, Los Angeles. Beside it is a sketch of the Hollywood sign. Grover slams his foot on the gas. The Lotus speeds down the strip over 100 miles per hour. Exterior, downtown Los Angeles, later day. Traffic is bumper to bumper on the 110 north through downtown. In the midst of traffic is the Lotus convertible. Interior, Lotus Elon day. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth are nervous, worried. Grover studies the map. The radio plays.
Scientists are baffled by what now appears to be a single storm cloud that has expanded to cover the entire United States. Hurricanes are building in both. Savage waves along the country's coastlines are endangering lives.
Zeus and Poseidon preparing for battle.
In other news, wanted kidnapper and suspected terrorist 17-year-old Percy Jackson is still at large.
Grover turns off the radio. Annabeth rolls down the window, sees the clock
In
on
other
a
news, suspected terrorist 17-year-old Percy Jackson is still at large.
Grover turns off the radio. Annabeth rolls down the window, sees a clock on a building. It reads 12:47 p.m.
Never thought I'd be late getting to hell because of traffic.
Percy pauses. Something deep inside is troubling him. An expression of doubt and weakness covers his face.
Look, guys. Maybe it's time to stop.
What?
Ares was right. Maybe I am being selfish. I mean, we've got less than 12 hours to stop the war. We should go straight to Olympus. I should have realized this earlier because we're nowhere near it now.
What about your mom?
We've done all we can.
Stop thinking like a stupid mortal.
What?
I didn't come all this way to quit. We can do this, Percy. We can save your mom and still stop the fucking war. But you can't stop believing in your goddamn self. You've come too fucking far. Get those human thoughts out of your fucking head and start being a goddamn demigod.
Percy nods. He'll go forward. Grover checks the map.
We're almost there. Here's our exit.
Outside, a green exit sign reads, Right Lane, Hollywood. Exterior, Hollywood sign, later day. The world-famous Hollywood sign. The Lotus Elon slides into the parking lot spot. Several feet below the sign? Don't know where that is. Percy and the kids get out of the car, run up the stairs toward the Hollywood sign. Percy checks his map, looks up. Percy's POV, the Hollywood sign. The words rearrange themselves. The E wood sign section of the sign fades away. The O morphs into an E. The sign now reads hell.
Just
Even though it says it right there, you're sure the entrance is here?
positive, yeah.
Exterior Hollywood sign, later day. Percy, Grover, and Annabeth hurriedly climb to an
Hi there, I'm pretty good.
They climb to an area directly below the sign. They are dwarfed by the letters. They look around cautiously. On the lower half of the letter H, there is a section of colorful graffiti, a mixture of street and gang symbols. Percy looks closely at the graffiti. It's actually Greek letters. As he stares at them, they take shape so that we recognize them.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Well, shit.
Percy reaches out and gently touches the H surface. There is a loud creaking sound. H spins like a revolving door, sending Percy, Annabeth, and Grover inside the sign. Interior, Hollywood sign, night. The revolving H stops, transporting the kids into a cramped, dark room, carved into the grassy, muddy earth. Grover pulls out a pack of matches, lights one. This illuminates the three kids and the face of Virgil. He is tall, bone-thin, with long gray hair, piercing eyes, and a haunted, tragic expression. His skin is pale with a blue tint. He is dressed in flowing, dark robes. Surprised by Virgil's appearance, the kids jump back.
The angel of death.
A tiny smile appears on Virgil's face.
Nothing so sinister, I'm afraid. I'm Virgil, guide of the underworld. The living are not permitted there.
I need to see Haiti.
Die and come back.
Virgil turns, moving back into the darkness.
We'll pay you.
Virgil pauses, extends his hand. Grover puts all their cash in the palm. It instantly incinerates. Virgil turns away.
Wait.
Percy pulls out the gold drachmas he stole from Medusa's Emporium, drops them into Virgil's hand. Virgil examines the ancient drachmas and smiles. Suddenly, the H spins again, revolving Percy, Annabeth, and Grover out of the room. Exterior, Hollywood sign, day. The revolving H stops. The kids are now back outside. He tricked us. Sorry, that's not my line. I'm just...
Go for it.
Not exactly.
They turn, now overlooking the underworld, the dark, alternate universe of Los Angeles. The expansive view of Hollywood has changed dramatically, a post-apocalyptic version of the sunny green landscape. Scattered fires rage through the hills. Black smoke rises from varied spots, swirling into the blood-red sky. Homes and buildings are burnt out, smoking, vacant. Cars burn, many just skeletal frames. The streets are filled with hundreds of souls of the departed. They are white, zombie-like figures, wandering aimlessly through the city. The souls are dressed in tattered, dirty clothes, like homeless specters. The sound of their painful wailing and moans echoes through the air. Virgil appears beside Percy, Grover, and Annabeth, who stare in horror at the sight before them.
Welcome to the underworld.
Virgil extends a torch.
I'll take you to Hades.
Exterior, underworld streets, moments later, day. Virgil leads the kids through the streets, making their way through burnt-out cars, carcasses of dead animals, and crowds of wandering souls. Percy is armed with his shield and sword. Annabeth holds her bow and arrow. Grover clutches his dagger. As the kids pass, the souls touch them, grab their hands, pull their hair.
Souls of the recently departed, waiting to find out what level of the underworld they'll be sent to. They're harmless. When they sense a living person, they touch them. It's comforting, reminds them of life's warmth.
One of the souls caresses Grover's cheek. He is revolted.
Yeah, it's so cold. So cold.
Exterior, Hades Mansion, later, day. Virgil leads Annabeth, Percy, and Grover to the entrance of Hades' home, a huge, ratty, dilapidated mansion, surrounded by rusted iron gates. The facade is crumbling, filling with cracks. Windows are broken. Horrible sounds of screaming and inhuman growling echo from inside the mansion. Virgil removes a rusty ring of keys, finds one, and opens the gate.
We'll find Hades inside.
The kids step through the gate. The souls of the departed try to follow. Virgil keeps them back, closing the gates. Virgil leads Percy, Grover, and Annabeth through the overgrown lawn toward the front door. There is a growling sound. A few feet away, two hellhounds feast on the carcass of a dead animal. They look up, seeing Percy. The hellhounds move toward Percy. He extends his sword. The hellhounds retract, staying back, not taking their eyes off of the kids. Virgil leads Percy, Annabeth, and Grover onto the crumbling stone porch. Toward the rotting front door, the rusted brass knocker is shaped like a large eagle. Percy reaches up to knock. Virgil tries to stop him. But Percy grabs the knocker anyway. The brass eagle comes to life, screeches, and bites Percy's hand. Percy leaps back, his hand bloodied. He looks to the door. The knocker is back to normal.
Not a good idea.
Percy wipes the blood from his hand. Virgil removes another key and opens the door. Virgil glares at Percy.
I'm the guide, remember?
Percy nods. They enter. Interior, Hades Mansion, hallway, day. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover enter. They are in a gigantic hallway flanked by a twisting staircase. Furniture and lighting fixtures are covered in mounds of dust and cobwebs. Rats play on the floor. Scattered spiders and lizards crawl along the walls. Floorboard sections of the staircase are rotted away. Grover steps onto a rotted section of the floor. It breaks away. Grover falls, grabbing onto the edge. Below him is a large basement filled with angry, hungry, lost souls. These are very different creatures from the lost souls in the streets. They are vicious, deadly. They grab and claw at Grover's legs, trying to pull him down below. Grover kicks and screams, managing to knock a few of them away. Percy and Annabeth pull at Grover, trying to save him. Finally, they pull him to safety.
You said they were harmless.
These are the lost souls, already condemned to eternal damnation. Very angry. And quite dangerous.
No shit.
A kid's movie.
A loud, booming voice echoes through the hallway.
Who dares enter my home? It's Virgil. I bring visitors. Who?
Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon.
Nephew, I've been expecting you.
Virgil leads the kids into another room toward the sound of Hades' voice. Interior, Hades' dining room, day. Camera pans along dining room table covered with an abundance of food. Cakes, roasts, vegetables, all are rotting, covered in cobwebs, maggots, and dust. Camera cranes back. We are inside of Hades' elaborate, decaying dining sitting room. 2 large, tattered leather chairs face an enormous stone fireplace. A roaring fire is inside. From here, we see the shapes of writhing, screaming bodies. Their muffled screams are heard. Sitting in one chair, watching the screaming souls, is Persephone, Hades' wife. She is dressed in black, with dark hair. Her beauty is masked by pale skin, goth makeup, black lipstick, etc. She is bored, miserable, trapped. She sips a glass of red wine. Hades is in the other chair. He is pale, rail-thin, with long dark hair, dressed like a rocker in leather, skull rings and boots. Russell Brand meets Keith Richards. Hades holds a near-empty bottle of wine. A globe made up of human bones, flickering with an inner golden light, rests on a pedestal beside Hades. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover enter, led by Virgil. Persephone glances up first, sees the kids. She focuses on Grover. The satyr notices, is immediately attracted to her.
Ew!
Grover smiles, raises an eyebrow. They exchange a seductive look.
He's a child!
Virgil clears his throat.
Excuse me, Lord Hades, sir.
Hades turns, looks at the kids. He stands, walks to them.
Wait, hang on. You're Hades?
Would you prefer I looked like...
Hades instantly transforms into a horrific 10-foot-high flaming winged demon god. He gets right in Annabeth's face.
This?
The kids are freaked. Even Virgil is terrified. Hades returns to normal. Virgil nervously backs out of the room.
Well, it appears that my services are no longer needed. Good luck, Mr. Jackson. Enjoy your stay.
Virgil practically stumbles over himself, running out of the room. Hades raises an eyebrow to Percy.
You are brave to come here, nephew. I can see the disgust in your eyes. Disgust for my world, disgust for what I have become. But this was not my choice. I was banished here by Zeus and your father. They have succeeded in making my life a living hell. Do you know what it's like to be me? Every feeling has been taken away. I feel no joy. I feel no pain. I am hungry, but I cannot taste. I am tired, but I cannot sleep. I am in love, but I can never fulfill my desire.
Persephone turns away. Hades points to the screaming, writhing souls that scream from his fireplace.
The only pleasure in my life is human suffering. When others feel pain, when others experience hurt and tragedy, I feel total and complete joy. I feed on misery. I am damned to this existence. And my only chance of getting out of here is by defeating my brothers and taking control of Olympus. But I need the bolt.
And I need my mom.
Give me the bolt and you will see her again.
I am not the lightning thief. I don't have the bolt. I never did.
Do you take me for a fool?
Percy holds up his shield and sword for protection.
Give it to me, or say goodbye to your mother.
Hades turns, grabs the human bone globe from its pedestal, and throws it onto the ground directly in front of Percy. The globe explodes, and there, frozen in a shower of gold, just as she was when the Minotaur was about to kill her, is Percy's mom, unconscious. The shower of light dissipates. Percy's mom wakes, sits up, sees her son.
Percy?
Percy's eyes fill with tears. He drops his shield and sword, runs to Sally. She looks into her son's eyes, smiles warmly. They embrace. Annabeth and Grover are touched. Even Hades' wife, Persephone, is moved. Percy looks at his mother.
I thought I lost you forever.
Sally looks around at her surroundings.
Are we dead?
Not yet. working on it.
Hades sees something off screen that catches his attention. Percy's shield. It lies face down. The handle appears to be glowing, surging with light. Hades walks up to the shield, picks it up. Hades rips the golden handle from the shield. The handle transforms into a long, clear cylinder filled with surging white lightning.
Zeus's master bolt. You lied.
That's not even my shield.
Who gave it to him? Oh my fucking god, we were set up.
Was the fucking lightning thief?
Now, I can become king of the gods.
Hades turns to Persephone.
Take their weapons, feed them to Kronos.
Persephone nods. She stands, takes Percy's sword and shield, Grover's dagger, Annabeth's bow and arrow. She leads Percy, Sally, and Annabeth and Grover out of the room. Persephone makes eye contact with Grover, still sharing an intense attraction.
No.
Interior, Hades' home. Cellar, later. An enormous cellar with towering vaulted brick ceilings and a series of tunnels that stretch into darkness. The walls are dripping wet. Percy, Annabeth, Sally, and Grover stand in the middle of the cellar.
I never would have expected Luke of all people.
But why did he hide the bolt in his shield? Why did he give it to me?
Add that to the long list of things I'll never know. Like the feeling of a naked woman, or the sweet smell of...
There is a loud grinding sound. In the middle of the stone floor, bricks separate. The floor begins to slide open, revealing a deep pit. Inside, there is a whirlpool of fire. From deep in the pit, within the flames, something stirs. It roars, then screams. Everyone runs to the side of the cellar, clutching the walls for dear life. The floor continues to slide open, revealing the waiting flames directly beneath them. A giant, demon-like face made entirely of flames appears in the whirlpool.
What's that?
Kronos, father of the gods, technically your grandfather.
My grandfather? Why is he in the first movie?
You, my friend, are the proud member of a very dysfunctional and non-canon following family. Think your old man was a deadbeat dad? At least he didn't eat his kids.
The face of Kronos roars. The floor continues to slide open.
Or his grandkids.
Only a few feet of floor remain. Grover and Sally clutch to the walls for dear life. Annabeth wraps her arms around Percy, holds him tight, whispers in his ear.
A sonnet from ancient Greece.
No.
He is more than a hero. He is a god in my eyes.
The floor continues to open, inches away from everyone falling to their deaths. Annabeth and Percy share a final kiss.
Priorities, people. Fuck.
Moments from death. Moments from death. Sally witnesses this, sees that her son has found love.
No.
I quit.
Suddenly, the floor stops opening. Everyone exchanges a puzzled look, holding on to the tiny ledge of rock. The roaring, flaming face of Kronos screams from below. The floor begins to close. The kids and Sally look bewildered as the force closed below them, much to the dismay of screaming Kronos. A hooded figure appears, racing down the stairs, towards Percy, Sally, Annabeth, and Grover. The figure removes its hood. It's...
Persephone?
Follow me.
Interior, Hades' palace, hallway, moments later. Persephone is returning the kids' gear, handing Annabeth her bow and arrow. Percy his sword and shield, Grover his dagger. Persephone gives Percy Zeus's bolt.
Why did you save us?
Hades has been cruel and abusive, forcing me into a loveless marriage. Your mother, I was abducted by Hades. I agreed to be his wife only if he will allow me to return to the surface for 3 months each year. It's all that I have to look forward to. A war of the gods will destroy everything I hold dear in the mortal world.
We'll do everything we can to stop it.
Persephone nods, smiles. She looks at them.
You have the pearl?
Grover removes the 3 green pearls from his backpack.
Only 3. One of you will have to stay behind.
What do you mean?
Each pearl protects only a single person. Whoever's blood touches it.
Kids look at each other, unaware of that.
Make your choice quickly.
Sally turns to Percy.
I'll stay. You're young. You have your whole life ahead of you. You need to experience it.
Percy takes Grover's dagger, quickly grabs his mom's hand, makes a slight cut on her finger.
Percy!
A drop of Sally's blood trickles onto one of the pearls. Percy gives the bloody pearl to her. Percy then reaches for Annabeth's hand. She retracts her hand.
Don't even fucking think about it. You go with your mom.
You 3 are going, and I'm staying.
Percy, there's...
No time to argue. You have to get Zeus's bolt back to Olympus.
He grabs Annabeth's hand. She spins, kicks the dagger out of Percy's hand. As Annabeth reaches for it, Percy activates Riptide and swings, making a shallow cut across her arm. Her blood drips to the floor.
No!
Percy rolls the pearl in Annabeth's blood, hands it to her.
Take care of my mom, and stay safe. I'll never forget you.
She nods, eyes teary. Percy turns to Grover.
Give me your hand.
I'm not letting you stay.
Give me your...
Grover reluctantly holds out his hand. Just as Percy is about to cut Grover's hand, Hades enters.
Where is the bolt?
Hades immediately transforms into demonic form. In that instant, Grover quickly sinks his teeth into Percy's arm, drawing blood.
Ouch!
Grover grabs the 3rd pearl, drips Percy's blood into it.
I'm the protector, not you.
Hades races toward Percy. He extends his sword, swinging wildly. Percy's sword pierces Hades' chest. The wound is deep. Hades is sent to the floor. Black blood pours from his wound. Hades is writhing in pain, reverts to his human self. Percy looks back to the others.
Break the pearls!
Annabeth and Sally smash the pearls on the ground. They explode in a green flash, enveloping Sally and Annabeth in a separate green sphere. Each sphere begins to float off the floor. Percy crushes the remaining green pearl in his hand. He is suddenly enveloped in the sphere. Percy looks to Grover.
It was an honor protecting you. Get the bolt to Olympus. You're our only hope.
I will. And then I'll get you out of here. I promise.
Grover exchanges a lustful smile with Persephone.
Ew!
Take your time.
Sally floats away with the others. Grover looks to Hades, badly wounded on the floor. A hand reaches out, grabs him. It's Persephone. She leads Grover out of the house.
No, thank you.
The 3 green orbs rise up. Percy calls to the others.
We need to concentrate, focus on where we're going. To Olympus.
The 3 orbs pass through the roof of the mansion. Exterior, New York City, later, night. The Empire State Building is adorned with red, white, and blue lights. Dark, ominous storm clouds are in the sky. There is thunder. The few pedestrians on the streets struggle to walk against the strong wind. It's ominous, eerie, like the world is about to end. 3 green orbs carrying Percy, Annabeth, and Sally rise up through the street, directly in front of the Empire State Building. The orbs dissolve. Percy looks around, confused.
This isn't Olympus, it's New York City. Use your hat, guys.
The entrance to Olympus isn't there, dumbass.
The Empire State Building? No shit, it's crazy.
A secret elevator, top floor.
He glances to a clock on a nearby building. 11:43 p.m.
17 minutes till the war begins. Let's move out, people.
Percy removes the lightning bolt cylinder from his backpack, clutching it tightly. Annabeth, Percy, and Sally hurry to the entrance doors. A familiar voice calls out to them.
Percy, give me the bolt.
They all stop, turn upward, to the direction of the voice. It's Luke!
Dun dun dun!
He's dressed in full armor, holding a long, sharp sword. Luke hovers several feet above them, wearing his own, very cool, very sleek, winged shoes.
Luke. Why'd you steal Zeus's bolt, man?
Because I love you. And also to start a war. And also to start a war between Poseidon and Zeus.
That's why you hid it in your shield and gave it to me?
When I discovered that you were going to the underworld, I realized if Hades got his hand on the bolt, there would be a three-way god war.
Percy activates Riptide. Luke rockets toward Percy, swipes at him with his sword. Percy deflects the blow, falling onto the ground. Percy drops the bolt. It begins to roll away.
Annabeth, the bolt!
Annabeth rushes to the bolt. Luke swoops down, delivers a spinning kick that sends Annabeth crashing into a parked car. Luke grabs the bolt, flies up onto a building ledge above. Percy and Sally run to Annabeth, help her up. Annabeth's shaken, the wind knocked out of her. They hear a slow buzzing sound. They look to the direction of the sound. The sound emanates from the bolt in Luke's hand. There is a hairline crack at the top of the bolt. Bright, tentacled sparks of electricity emit from the crack. Luke gently moves his hand. The slightest movement releases lightning from the bolt. The stronger the movement, the more electricity is released.
What?
Luke's eyes burned with a newfound power. Percy calls to him.
Why? Why do you want a war between the gods?
Control. They've been in power for too many years. It's time for our generation to take over. Centuries ago, the Olympians defeated their parents, took control. Why shouldn't we do the same?
Maybe it's because you'll destroy all of mankind in the process.
Exactly. Giving the young gods an opportunity to start over, to create a new world of heroes.
You're no hero.
With a quick snap of his wrist, Luke triggers the bolt. A blast of lightning shoots out and blows a massive hole into the building behind Percy, Annabeth, and Sally. They leap out of the way as concrete and brick fall around them. Luke smiles, glances to the bolt, impressed. Percy glances to a nearby fire hydrant, concentrating on it. Luke aims the bolt at them again. He fires. They dash out of the way. The lightning strikes a nearby empty garbage truck. The truck is incinerated, leaving a massive crater in the street. Directly below Luke, the fire hydrant starts to shake. Luke doesn't notice. Furious, Luke glares at Percy, Annabeth, and Sally. He aims the bolt, about to blast them, when the fire hydrant below explodes. Water shoots upward, blasts Luke. The force knocks Luke off the building's edge. Luke falls, lands on the ground, dazed, nearly unconscious. The lightning bolt lies on the ground, a few feet beside him. Percy draws his sword, runs forward, and reaches down, about to grab the bolt. Luke is quick. He draws his sword, leaps to his feet, and stops Percy from getting the bolt. Luke and Percy face off against each other. The bolt is on the ground between them. They begin to fight, swords clashing. Percy shouts to Annabeth and Sally.
Get to Olympus! Tell Zeus everything!
Annabeth and Sally run inside the Empire State Building. Percy and Luke continue a heated battle. Percy is nearly Luke's equal. They fight like two warriors. Interior, Empire State Building, lobby, night. Annabeth and Sally run inside. The security guard calls out.
Okay.
Raphael, be the security guard.
Hey, observation deck's closed.
Annabeth and Sally ignore him, jump into an open elevator. The doors close, just as the security guard runs up. Exterior, Empire State Building, street, night. Luke and Percy are still in a heated sword fight. Luke is faster. He pulls back his sword. Whack! Slices across Percy's midsection. Percy falls to his knees, bleeding, a deep cut across his torso. Luke grabs the bolt. He turns to the Empire State Building, aims the bolt at the rooftop toward the lightning rod perched there. Luke snaps his wrist, fires at the lightning rod, a direct hit engulfing the building in a web of intense electricity. The Empire State Building's power goes out, along with half of the block. The building's lights flicker off. Interior, night. The elevator lights go out. The elevator stops. Annabeth and Sally exchange a worried glance. Exterior, Empire State Building, street, night. Percy rises, holding Riptide and concentrating on something off-screen. Luke aims the bolt at Percy's heart. Concentrating, Percy causes two more fire hydrants to explode. Instead of the water shooting up, the water takes on a life of its own. It turns and whips back toward Luke, about to pummel him. Luke deftly flies around the water, outmaneuvers it with his winged shoes. Luke takes aim, about to fire at Percy. Percy dives. Luke fires a lightning blast. It blows out the windows of a storefront, causing a wall of smoke and falling debris. Luke searches for Percy. Can't see him. Exterior alley. Night. Percy ducks into an alley, grabs his backpack and removes the pair of shoes. Percy hurriedly puts on the shoes. He sees Luke fly past. Percy takes off, flying right at him. Exterior sky above Manhattan. Night. A high-speed chase between Percy and Luke, flying through the cavernous streets of Manhattan. Luke looks back and fires at Percy. Percy deflects with his sword blade. They arrive over the shores of the Hudson. Percy picks up speed, slams into Luke from behind. Luke drops the lightning bolt. It lands on the grassy shore below. Percy and Luke begin a mid-air sword fight as they move out over the Hudson River. They fight in the air like two acrobatics, flipping and spinning as their swords clash. Luke delivers several devastating blows. Percy is weakened, bleeding, but is still fighting like a hero. Like a hero? Okay. Go on, Percy. Luke slices the wings off Percy's left shoe. Percy loses altitude. He struggles to stay in the air. Percy falls and slams into a wooden dock. He's shaken, out of breath, badly wounded. Luke flies down toward Percy, sword in hand. Percy extends his hand toward the river. He tightens his brow, using every bit of his strength, every muscle in his body. Percy closes his eyes, concentrates intensely. Luke lands on the dock, directly in front of Percy. Luke raises his sword to finish off Percy.
Over. I've won.
The river begins to rumble, churn. Waves form. Luke turns, sees an enormous wave heading straight for them. Luke starts to run, attempts to fly away. The wave completely engulfs Percy, Luke, and the dock. The water appears to reach out and grab Luke out of the air. The wave pulls him down under the water. Interior. Exterior, underwater, night. The wave forms a whirlpool around Luke. He is being dragged beneath the water below, screaming. Within moments, Luke's screams fade. He's gone. Exterior, Hudson River, night. Thunder cracks in the sky above New York. Waves crash against the shore. And then, majestically, Percy rises up out of the water as if he's being carried by the sea. He rides the waves, controlling its every move. He looks down, sees a lightning bolt lying on the shore below. Percy rides the wave low, reaches down and snatches the lightning bolt. Exterior, Manhattan streets, night. Percy rides the wave through the streets of Manhattan like a surfer without a board. The darkened Empire State Building is dead ahead. Percy raises the bolt, extends it toward the lightning rod at the top of the building. Percy fires the bolt. The Empire State Building is engulfed in electricity, restoring powers to the building. Where's the logic? I don't know. The lights flicker, turn back on. Interior, Empire State Building, elevator, night. The lights snap on. Annabeth and Sally are surprised. The car starts to move, going upward. Exterior, Empire State Building, night. The wave carries Percy right up to the entrance of the Empire State Building. Percy steps off, looks up at the clock on the nearby building. It reads 11:55 p.m.
5 minutes.
Exterior, Empire State Building, observation deck, night. Annabeth and Sally get out. Moments later, Percy exits another elevator, the lightning bolt in his hand. Annabeth grabs Percy by the arm, leads him forward.
We have exactly 90 seconds to get to fucking Olympus.
Annabeth leads Percy and Sally to a small supply closet. She opens the door. Inside is a tiny, cluttered closet filled with cleaning supplies. They enter. Interior, supply closet, secret elevator, night. Annabeth removes the cleaning supplies from the shelves. Behind the middle shelf on the wall is a rusty button that reads, Floor 600. Annabeth pushes the button. The supply closet door closes. The room rumbles, becoming an elevator. They move upward. Exterior, Olympus, seconds later, night. The elevator door opens. Percy, Annabeth, and Sally step out. Below them is the stormy skyline of Manhattan from the height of an airplane. In front, marble steps wind up into the spine of a cloud into the sky. From the top of the clouds rises the decapitated peak of a mountain, its summit covered with snow. Clinging to the mountainside are dozens of multi-leveled palaces. At the top of the peak, the largest palace gleams against the snow. Percy stares in awe.
Olympus.
They hear a familiar voice.
Get close.
Chiron is standing beside them.
Chiron!
Let's go!
Oh my god, damn. What are the odds?
Raised up the torch-lit stairs. Interior, Zeus's palace, throne room, later night. The room looks out over all of Olympus. 12 gigantic elevated thrones are arranged in an inverted U around a swirling living globe. Of all of the Olympians are seated at present. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Apollo, Artemis, Hestia, Hephaestus, Ares, Hermes, Demeter, Aphrodite, and Athena. In the first throne is Zeus. He resembles a strong Roman emperor, a sculpted grim face, his eyes rainy gray, with a well-trimmed beard. Next to him is Poseidon. He resembles a handsome surfer. His skin is deeply tanned, hands scarred like an old fisherman's. His hair is long, sun-streaked. His striking blue eyes are identical to Perseus. A faded tattoo of a trident is on his muscular forearm. The gods are in the middle of an intense, heated argument. Zeus and Poseidon are the most angry, looking as if they're about to get into a fist fight. Athena tries to intervene.
Brothers, please sit down. Discuss this rationally. War is not the answer.
Sure it is. It always is.
The ancient clock on the wall counts down. 6, 5, 4. Zeus gets right into Poseidon's face. 3, 2, 1.
Let the war begin.
Lord Zeus, wait!
The gods turn to the sound of Chiron's voice. Chiron runs into the throne room along with Percy, Annabeth, and Sally. We realize that the throne room and the gods are gigantic. The gods are each nearly 30 feet tall, dwarfing Chiron and the humans. Athena is surprised to see Annabeth.
Annabeth?
Hey, Mom.
Percy steps forward, holding the master lightning bolt.
Hi, I'm Percy Jackson, and I think you've been looking for this.
Zeus looks at Poseidon. He can't help but smile a little. Zeus glares at Percy.
The lightning thief. I knew it. Bring it to me.
Percy walks forward, places the bolt into Zeus's gigantic palm. When it is placed into Zeus's hand, the bolt grows back to its normal size.
Congratulations. You've managed to save what's left of your father's reputation.
Percy turns, exchanges his first look with Poseidon. Percy's eyes remain cold, hard. He turns back to Zeus.
I didn't steal the lightning bolt. If my father had asked me to do something for him, I would have said no. I have no loyalty to him. I owe him nothing.
Poseidon lowers his head slightly. Zeus smiles, amused.
I believe you owe your personality to him. But if you didn't take the bolt, why do you have it?
It was stolen by Luke, son of Hermes. Raphael B. Hermes.
I have a son named Luke?
Oh my god!
Oh, great.
Zeus raises an eyebrow to Percy.
Why should I believe you?
You don't have to. All you have to do is honor your word. I returned the bolt by summer solstice. Now call off the war.
Zeus turns to Poseidon, back to Percy.
For the sake of peace in our family, there will be no war.
That was easy.
You've done me a great service. If there's ever anything I can do for you, feel free to ask.
There's a satyr, my protector, named Grover. He's being held prisoner by Hades, that goddamn jerk. Could you get him free?
Zeus contemplates this. Not so sure. Poseidon intervenes.
You could make a trade. I hear that Percy killed many of Hades' pets. Did you keep any tokens?
Percy digs the Minotaur horn out of his pocket.
This.
That will do. Hades loved that hideous beast. He can grow a new one with this, yes. I think we'll be able to get your friend released.
Annabeth steps forward, tentatively at first.
Oh, no.
I have an announcement.
All of the gods turn to her. Annabeth takes Percy's hand.
No, screw you. The son of Poseidon and the daughter of Athena are officially
in love.
But
They exchange a kiss.
This is a part of the movie?
They're 12!
Athena and Poseidon. Annabeth looks at Athena and Poseidon.
Poor Rick Riordan, man. Pour one out.
God damn.
Okay, tell me later. I think it's about time you two stopped hating each other.
Yeah, just kiss already. Fuck.
Poseidon and Athena sigh, holding back their anger, putting aside their feelings for now. Zeus finds it all very amusing, laughing.
Our meeting is adjourned. I still don't trust you.
And with that, Zeus vanishes in a blinding flash of lightning. Athena looks at Annabeth.
Lightning. No, Clash of Lightning. No, no, that one.
We'll discuss this later, young lady.
No.
Athena vanishes. All of the gods begin to vanish one by one. Everyone except Poseidon. He looks down, catches Sally's eye for the first time. Poseidon steps off the throne, walks forward. With each step, he becomes smaller, soon becoming the size of a mortal. Poseidon walks to Sally and gives her a tender kiss.
Great.
Poseidon.
Good to see you, Sally. You look beautiful.
You too. Of course, you have that eternal youth thing going on.
They exchange a warm smile. Poseidon turns, approaches Percy. They look at each other, an estranged father and son meeting for the first time. It's tense, uncomfortable.
I can't thank you enough, Percy. Few heroes in history could have accomplished what you've done. I'm proud of you. Son?
He extends his hand. Percy ignores it coldly. There is a long silence, years of tension between them. Sally nods to Annabeth and Chiron, looks back to Percy.
We'll leave you two alone.
Sally, Annabeth, and Chiron move several feet away. Percy turns to the window, looks out over the lands of Olympus.
I'm not asking you to like me.
No need. I didn't do it for you. Did it for my mom.
I know that.
Percy continues to stare at the landscape of Olympus, his back turned to Poseidon. Percy has so many questions. He speaks softly, a deep sadness in his voice.
How old was I when you left?
7 months.
Do you remember any of it?
Every moment. You were beautiful, boy. Your mother and I were in love. I could have stayed forever.
But you didn't.
I had other responsibilities.
More important than us.
Percy turns, faces Poseidon, who doesn't answer.
I didn't care if you were there all the time, but I would have liked to see you, even for a day, an hour. I didn't come back.
I wanted to. It's just when I was with you and your mother, I became less concerned with my responsibilities. I was ignoring my natural destiny. I was becoming human.
And that's bad?
For a god? For the future of the universe? Yes, Percy, that's bad.
What about these last 2 weeks? I almost died out there, but you didn't do anything. You didn't help me, did you?
I was looking out for you every step of the way. When you needed me, I was there. Who do you think sent you horses in the desert? Who spoke to you, gave you clarity at Lotus Land? Just because you didn't see me doesn't mean I wasn't there. When you sit in the bottom of the pool trying to figure out your life, the voice in your head is me.
That's you.
Passing out what advice I can, most of which you tend to ignore, by the way.
A tiny smile appears on Percy's face. Percy softens, understands how complicated this must be for his father.
I know this isn't the father-son relationship you've always wanted, but it's the best I can do. I hope someday you'll see that.
Olympus wasn't built in a day.
Poseidon smiles, extends his hand again. Percy pauses, slowly shakes it. Poseidon pulls him close, in for an embrace. Their first hug. Sally is watching, a smile on her face. tears in her eyes. Interior, Agliano home, a few days later. Day. A dark, overcast day in New York City. Sweeping storm clouds fill the air. Distant thunder rumbles. Gabe sits alone in front of the TV, watching the news, drinking a beer.
Authorities have now confirmed that Percy Jackson and his mother have been safely returned after their month-long ordeal. Police now know that the two have been kidnapped by this man.
A picture of Ares taken from a security camera at the All-American Diner appears on screen.
The FBI has confirmed that he is also the man responsible for vandalizing the Parthenon in Nashville and the beheading of at least one other victim. If you have any information leading to...
Gabe clicks off the TV, annoyed. He crushes the beer can.
Sally! I need another beer.
Exterior, Agliano home, backyard, day. Percy and his mom are reclining in beach chairs, sipping cool drink. Annabeth sits in Percy's lap, arms around each other.
Oh!
In the background, Grover stands at a grill, flipping burgers because, he's a vegetarian, but it's fine. Persephone stands beside Grover, hand tucked into his back pocket. She nibbles lustfully on his earlobe.
No.
What is happening?
This is a children's story.
The sky is getting darker with storm clouds. Thunder rolls. Percy looks at his mother.
I want to show you something. Shut up. Promise you won't be mad.
Oh no. Now what?
Percy lifts up his shirt sleeve, revealing a tattoo of a trident on his deltoid.
Oh my god, no. How could this get worse?
It's an exact copy of his father Poseidon's tattoo. Sally touches it, her face flooding with fond memories.
Yeah. I love it. Is it permanent?
Percy Potts shrugs.
It's permanent, Mom.
Annabeth raises an eyebrow at Percy smiles.
Well, maybe. One thing.
Yeah, you're a teenager.
They're a small kiss, very much in love.
Gross.
There's a loud crack of thunder. The clouds get darker. Grover, cooking the burgers, looks up into the sky.
Maybe we should move this party inside.
Don't need this about it. No, I like it out here.
The sky erupts with thunder, followed by several intense bright blasts of lightning. Percy watches the lightning show, reflected in his eyes. Then it begins to rain. The drops fall slowly at first, soon becoming a downpour. Grover, Persephone, and Sally duck for cover beneath the rooftop overhang. Percy stays where he is, Annabeth's head resting on his shoulder. The cool rain showers over the couple. A smile covers Percy's face, along with something else we've never seen, an expression of peace and contentment. From off-screen, we hear...
Sally! Beer!
Get it yourself, you lazy bum.
Percy looks back, exchanges a smile with Sally. Interior, Agliano kitchen, same. Lightning cracks! Gabe storms into the kitchen, muttering.
Get it myself? You're getting to be as lazy as that loser fucking son of yours. Well, I got news for both of you.
Gabe reaches for the refrigerator door.
I'm the king of this fucking castle, and there are gonna be some goddamn changes made around here.
Gabe opens the refrigerator and looks in horror. He sees the head of Medusa, eyes wide open, staring back at Gabe. There is a loud lightning crack. The screen goes white. The end.
That was the lightning,
And it ends with a murder.
Oh,
That
God.
was a version of it. That was a choice.
That was disgusting. That was gross.
Wow.
That was worse than the movie.
Phones.
Katie,
Yeah.
stop it! Oh my god.
Hey, it's not like that's any more PG-13
Get out.
than what just happened.
No, thank
They
you.
made a lot of choices there that I did not agree with.
And none of them were correct.
Yeah, definitely a lot of choices. Sure.
Sitting in his lap.
Ew.
That's a
And
12-year-old
Persephone
activity.
and Grover, ew. So thanks to our cast, this Friday, the Bard Book Club on this channel is reading Henry IV Part 2. And then next month, the movie will be back on my channel and we're reading Juno.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks once again for joining us.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy Percy Jackson. This was a really ridiculous, fun way to read the script of
Go
this
read the book now. So
The book, much better than this piece of trash.